Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
That's right. I have no internet. Well done.
You have internet because I
No,
can
no,
hear you.
no. My laptop says no. It says
Well,
no internet,
your
and it's got a
laptop
little.
is lying to you.
It's got a little dinosaur picture. It says no. You have no internet, even though I know it's got internet. Yeah. Google, you lie.
Google always lies, and it watches you. So
It
Google
does.
censors you. Google does all kinds of stuff to you. Google hates you. The only thing it likes is your money.
I'll give it some money then.
No,
What do you
not
mean
if I
no?
can avoid it.
Why can't I give it money?
You can. I won't if I can avoid it.
So are you home now?
Yes, and in my office again.
Oh, that was a pretty little sound. That was like a magical Christmas fairy entered the room.
Absolutely. It is Magical Christmas Fairy podcast recording season.
I don't like how chipper you are, and I want you to take it all back.
Oh, well, it's because I've slept absolutely none after watching the entire season of Shrinking last night.
Is that because you had free Apple this weekend?
It was, I mean, Apple like goes out of their way to throw like, hey, here's 90 days free, like, and it's what, $8 a month anyway. But I'm like, if you're going to give me this for free, it's the first thing my wife's wanted to watch in forever.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Shrinking season 2 came out. The whole thing is out. So we sat down to watch it in front of a fire and just kept watching and just kept watching, and it's amazing. And then we're like, oh, it's 3 a.m. I should go to sleep.
Yep.
Now here we are.
Here we are with our post Christmas and New Year's party podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So should we just roll the titles and then we can chat, I suppose?
Suppose we shall. There's so much news and updates and things.
No.
Just no.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast. Dedicated in bringing you all the latest information, news, and opinions. This is the best show for new and veteran Guardians alike, where we share tips, tricks, and tools to help you succeed and enjoy playing even more. So with all that said, let me hand you over to your hosts, the Triumph Hunting Titan Nitedemon, the pink-panted pansy Peroty, and your Hunter Master Ranger, Mr. No One Respawns in Real Life!
So welcome back to our post Christmas and New Year's podcast. I'm Nitedemon. Over there, warming his little tokies by the fire, is Peroty. And in his cold room is No One Respawns in Real Life.
My cold room.
Yeah, it's cold and echoey.
Is it echoey?
No, I'm just playing with you.
Just cold.
Just cold.
How can you even tell it's cold?
Because it's echoey.
Is it echoey, you scrub?
Yes.
It sounds cold.
It sounds cold. I don't know how something could sound cold, but you sound like you're in a colder room than me and Peroty.
It does. Just trust us. It just sounds cold.
Okay, no, I'm just trying to work this out. Because all I did was move my computer from my
there we go.
bedroom.
There we go.
Back to my office.
2025, and we have kicked it off with already moving the equipment. Okay.
Into my office.
That's the best way to start it. I mean, if you're not relaying out rooms, what do you do with yourself?
But I mean, it's still in the corner, just like it was in the bedroom. I still have nothing behind my screen, just like in the bedroom. The only difference is in my bedroom I had a lot more stuff. I guess maybe all the extra stuff like the bed and dressers
All
and
those
whatnot
nice
was
soft-
absorbing the
the soft stuff that absorbs the noises.
Nice soft materials that lets the sound waves just like, just snuggles into the sound waves and says, "Oh, I'm a nice soft material. Let the sound wave just come and just nestle in for a long winter's nap." Versus the harsh reality of the office where all the walls are hard and it just goes boing, 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 like a small pinball bouncing off all the walls.
Because my webcam microphone is what's being used instead of my actual microphone. Stand by.
Ah,
That could be.
that could be it.
Is
Well-
that different?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Now you sound like you're in a warm room. Did you turn the fire on?
Oh. Speaking of fires, while I was at my mom's for Christmas,
Yep.
her microwave spontaneously ignited while everybody was asleep.
Hmm.
We had a fire.
Was it plugged in?
Well, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say that's spontaneous then. I'd just say that just caught fire.
The thing about it is like, you know how microwaves aren't supposed to function when the doors are open, right? The door was open, and somehow flames were rolling out of the front of it, and like the whole house was covered in smoke, and it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. And the crazy thing is, my brother Johnny, he gets up, he grabs the mic, throws it outside, and is starting to wake everybody else up. And I wake up, and the house is full of smoke. And me thinking that it's just my mom cooking again, because this is a regular thing when my mom cooked. I'm just like, oh, mom must be cooking breakfast. And I went back to sleep with a fire in the house. Oh, it's such a terrible habit to have.
Just put the fire over here with the rest of the fire and walk away.
Right.
That sounds like my children. Anytime the fire alarm goes off in the house, they're like, "Where are the kids? The alarms are going off. Where's the fire? Where's the smoke?" And
Right.
it's either somebody's burnt something or something's gone wrong with the fire alarm. But there are no
Right.
children. There are no children in the vicinity, and you go and look for them, and they're sitting in their rooms, and you're like, "The fire alarms are going off. You could be burning to death, but you want to sit here and play Fortnite." And you're like, yeah. Like,
If you're gonna go out, go out doing what you love, I guess.
Some things are
Yeah.
more important than life.
Yeah.
Apparently, cranking 90s is the new thing, which
I don't
I
know
was
what that
unaware
even
of.
means.
And I have no idea. I don't know whether it's cranking or cracking 90s, but over Christmas, because my son decided he wanted to play on my Xbox in the front room. So he's sitting there playing with his friend. He's got his friend on his phone, talking to his friend. His friend's got a really deep voice now. His voice is strong. Yeah, he's got a really deep voice, whereas my son's still quite high pitched. And I was like, "Is that so and so?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I got on my laptop and I thought I'll join him and have a bit of fun, mess about. So I joined him in his Fortnite game, and I heard his friend came on the phone and went, "Who's that? Who's Nitedemon? Who's that?" Now, instead of telling the truth, he turned and he looked at his little sister who was sitting next to him and said, "It's my sister." I'm like, I looked at him and I went, "Are you embarrassed that your father has now joined your game?" And
Is
he's
this
like,
Phoenix?
"Yeah." And he's like,
Good man.
and I'm like, "Seriously?" He went, "Dad, you're rubbish." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, he said, "You've got to be cranking 90s." And I'm like, "What are we talking about?" I said, "I've just joined your game because I you wanted people in your squad." He went, "Not you." I was like, "Fine, I won't play with you then." And he's like, "No, I'll just pretend it's Esme, my 7-year-old sister."
Oh,
So yeah,
have we gotten to this point?
apparently I've got to the point that I'm too embarrassing to be playing with my son while he's playing with his friend that I've known since they were both like about 5 years old. So it's not
Yeah.
like his friend doesn't know me. Obviously, he just doesn't know my gamer tag, but
Apparently, he knows you're rubbish now. So
yeah,
I mean, there you go.
although rubbish, we still won. So
Yeah, but clearly, you were carried, from what I understand. I wasn't there. I don't know, but it sounds like you got carried. That's what I'm saying.
I did get carried because he kept going, "They're over there doing something." And I'm like, "Where?" And I'm swiveling around on the camera like, "Where are you looking? Where are you shooting? Why am I being shot at?" And I think he used me as bait, basically, because I was like a headless chicken running around. And he was like, "Go and get in that car." I'm like, "Oh, can I get in a car?" And he's like, "Yeah, go and get in that car and drive over there." I'm like, so I'm driving, and then so like about 4 of them come out of nowhere and start attacking me. And he's popping them off all over the place. I'm like, what's happening? Why are they just dying? And he's like, "That's all right. I've got them. And then he let me lure one of them into the cloud or wherever it is, the storm cloud. And he's like, and he left me there until I was kind of like dying, and then he came and got me. But we still won.
I hate to tell you this. No, I don't.
No, you
You
don't.
are actually bait.
Yeah,
You're
I was
legit
bait.
bait. Yeah,
Mhm.
for real.
100%.
You've gotten to the point where your child not only doesn't need you, he doesn't want to play with you, right? You are
No.
cannon fodder.
He doesn't mind playing with me when I'm not playing with him and his friends. Different.
Oh,
I'm the embarrassing dad on the video games. Imagine that.
Mm-hmm. A dad
I
playing
see.
video games. Is there anything more cringeworthy?
Well, the only reason I stayed up late last night is remember how I told you guys I don't really play mobile games. I just have like these little time wasters that I use when I'm on the planes and whatnot, just to kill time.
Mhm.
There
What
was
have you
this one my brother
deeply
introduced me
obsessed
to
with?
over Christmas called Balatro, something like
Oh,
that.
sir.
Somebody
Well,
obviously doesn't listen to Guardian Down.
No.
Or is just generally a man about the internet anywhere?
Yeah.
Because
Game Awards.
I have made it a point to learn as little about Balatro as possible, for fear of spawning a new addiction. So please tell me, sir, how have you walked down this road, and how are you finding
Oh my god, my brother showed it to me, and like it is so ridiculously addictive. I can't stop, dude. And you think like, oh, it's just like poker, but it's like poker on crack and steroids at the same time. It's just nutty, right? So like, I mean, it just sounds basic, like, oh, okay, well, you have an extra hand or whatever, right? But things you can manipulate your cards in your deck. So like, oh, well, when you play this king, you actually get to count that king twice before you count the rest of your hand. And your chips get multipliers if you have this thing on. And if you have a tarot card that says, oh, well, now you can change these two clubs into these two diamonds forever, you know yeah, I mean, you manipulate your cards, your hand, your deck. Once you start getting high enough scores, and you gotta, like, unlocking the new decks is so hard because you have to beat 8 blinds, right? A blind is like a blind isn't what you think it is, like an actual poker. A blind is like a boss in this case, right? And you have to beat 8 of them. And they have weird effects, like you can only play one hand. Like the first hand you play, if it happens to be, oh crap, I got a full house. Now you can only play full houses for the rest of that boss match, kind of thing, right? So you can change boss blinds and things like that. But yeah, you can manipulate your deck, and once you do start unlocking the other decks, there's one where like it balances out your chips versus your multipliers. So if you don't have any multipliers, but you've got a ton of chips, well, now it takes your chips and your multipliers and it evens them out so that you have the same of both, which really ups your score. I mean, it's just I can sit here and talk to you about it all day, and I still wouldn't even tell you half of it. It's so complex, and all the shenanigans you can do in it, it's crazy. And it's ridiculously addictive for just a stupid little poker game.
Does it mean that while you're talking about the poker game, you have to keep clicking and clacking?
Damn it.
Yeah. Just
It
checking.
is actually a requirement to play and do well.
Well, I'm surprised we haven't got breakfast on the go as well as the clicking and clacking. I mean, I've got breakfast on the go, which is why I keep muting in between. But
the wife's working on the breakfast thing, so good time.
All in due time. All in due time.
So, Peroty, how was your Christmas? Did you have fun?
It was lovely. We did a little Christmas Olympics for my wife, her son, and her boyfriend, and my wife. She was like, my sister-in-law was like, I'd like to do just like play some games, like play some fun, like silly, Christmassy themed games.
Hold on, back up. I need to clarify something. I heard your wife, her son, and her boyfriend.
There's a sister in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
my wife, her sister, the sister's boyfriend and son.
Okay, I'm like, hey.
So basically, we did what any good person would do. Took to the internet and said, what are other people doing for silly games for Christmas? So it was things like, take this piece of paper and hold it behind your back and rip it into the shape of a Christmas tree. Same thing,
Okay.
blind snowman drawing, close your eyes and try to draw a snowman on this other sheet of paper. picking up marshmallows with a straw. Like put the straw in your mouth, suck the air in to pick little mini marshmallows up, put them on a plate. Pin the nose on Frosty. Silly things like that.
And there's me thinking that you dug out the games of like Cluedo and Monopoly and things like that. No, you meant actual proper party games.
Basically, party games. Swinging candy canes around by a string tied around your waist, trying to pick up other candy canes, which was by far the silliest thing we did, which was great fun. So yeah, just like silly sort of vaguely Christmas themed party games, and my wife enjoys putting all that stuff together. So she had a nice little leaderboard done up and brought it all over to their house and played silly games. And then Christmas, played like 7 hours of Stardew Valley by the fire, just hanging out after I got my Star Baker done. So, got the important work done first, got the Star Baker title set up, and then hung out and ran a very successful farm, making millions of dollars.
Nice.
I
as you do.
Did the same kind of thing as you. I was like, we've got to get the Destiny priorities done first. So I need to make sure that we get to the last week. So I think it was Christmas Eve, wasn't it? It was the last week of the reset. And I was like, right, I'm going to go and bake all the motes that, the chocolate motes that I need for Drifter, so that I can I can add to the tally of everybody, building the multiplier to get the emblems. And I thought, if I've got all these ingredients, I will go and bake them, go and give them to him. I think I ended up with, there was a ridiculous amount of like gifts that were given back. And I was like, right, cool. I'm going to sit and I'm going to go through and I'm going to hopefully get the emblems and get what I need out of this. And I started off doing, I was like, maybe I should go for a Stay Frosty. And I popped I must have been about 10 or 15. I was like, I'm not getting anything back. Like an emblem's not coming out of these because I'm going for the weapons. And I was like, maybe I just need to pop them open. Having not thought about this, I was like, that's probably what I need to do. And I think I was down to about 15 packages at this point. And I was like, right, let's go for this. Right. So I popped the first 3 and I got the Ikora emblem. I was like, brilliant. Popped another 3, got the crow one. I was like, oh, this is amazing. Pop 3 and I get one. Pop 3 and I get one. I was like, brilliant. I've got like about 9 left. Pop 3, nothing. It's like, popped another 3, nothing. I popped the last 3, absolutely nothing. Apart from enhancement cores, obviously.
Right, yeah. Materials, but not an emblem to be found.
So I was like, I'm going to have to play the game even more because I can't leave it at 2 emblems. That my OCD kicked in at that point. It went, you cannot give up and just have the 2 emblems. You have to have all 3. There is a collection part of this. If you didn't pop the gifts in the first place, this is your own fault. In my mind, I'm thinking this is your own fault. But then I was trying to kind of make allowances for this and going, look, the reason why is that I wanted to be Star Baker and I needed to do it to get the enhancement core, the golf ball at the end of it. And I thought if I hadn't done this and I hadn't done that, then so I ended up with the 2. I ended up then playing again, and I did see you and Blue on, but I thought I'm going to get focused on this. I'm going to play Momentum Control. I did my Wicked Implement Catalyst whilst I was playing it as well, and I was because they were the quickest matches I could get done and get like about 10 or 15 like the dawning stuff to the ingredients. As I said, the first week I'd maxed out within the first couple of days, but it was just kind of the spirit or the essence. I can't remember which one you needed for baking. And so I did that and I got another 3 packages and I was like, brilliant. I'll pop them. Nothing again. And I was like, damn it. So I ended up playing for about 2 or 3 more hours before I got for some reason I got 3 randomly at the end of a Crucible match. And I was like, brilliant. I've now got about 9 again. So I went through and popped like about 3 of them. And I'd run out of dark motes at that point. So I ended up going to Zavala, popped the last 3 at Zavala, and he gave me gifts back in return. Got 3 from him, and it was the last one, literally the last one, gave me the Zavala emblem. And I was like, thank God for that. I can now walk away a kind of happy man that it's just kind of done and dusted. And then for the rest of the Christmas, because I knew my Xbox was being taken over with this zoo game from my wife, I played Indiana Jones. And I got
Zoocosis?
Yeah, it's one of the zoo.
Is that like a scary game?
A zoo.
Zoo Tycoon, like Zoo.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I
Like you
you
build or
said
manage a
zoo,
zoo.
and I thought you meant like zoo coaster. So I was like, dude, your wife plays that. That's awesome.
No.
Do you know what that is?
No
Now I'm
idea.
looking at what Zoocosis is.
No idea what he's talking about.
Body
Resident
cam
Evil,
You
she
should
plays
horror
look at
simulation.
Zoocosis.
You're a zookeeper, identify infected mutant animals, make a vaccine, and cure them.
No, it's just she like building the zoo kind of thing, and
Except they
then
mutate
running it.
into like horrific things, and the food you feed them are not standard foods that you would feed animals. Is all I'm gonna say.
Are you miles? You're miles away from the microphone again.
No, I just move. I have my boon, and I moved my boon slightly away so you wouldn't hear the click clack click clack click
I can
clack.
still hear the click clacking.
Oh, son of a mother!
Yeah. Going back to the zoo thing. No, she doesn't play your zoo zombie game. She plays like building proper zoos and running them kind of thing. So I got this game, and
It's
I knew
a proper zoo.
Well, I knew she was going to be taking over the Xbox with it because it's a physical game and on the Xbox, and it was only for Xbox X. So she plays that. So I thought, I've got Game Pass. I will play my Indiana Jones game that I can kind of just sit to the side and play while she's playing hers. It only took them about 3 days, and they were like, "He's ditched Destiny. Look at that. Destiny is now the mistress." I'm like,
Well, the thing about the mistresses is, they
It's
they
not
have
true.
a tendency to stick around longer than the wives, so that might not be a great analogy.
I said, that's not true. I'm still playing Destiny. I said, I can't play Destiny at the moment because it's not on Game Pass. So I've been relegated to my laptop to play this game, which I was excited to play of it. But, I will still play Destiny. And then yesterday when I turned Destiny back on, they were like, oh, look, it only took a couple of days. He's back on Destiny. I was like, I never gave up on Destiny. Stop
No matter what you say, they're gonna mess with
the
you.
ridicule that I get.
Your family is the comment section of any YouTube thread ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, saying that, we did get a comment on one of the videos saying, stop playing the dead game. I was like, is it technically dead if it's still going? Whereas you could look at these games and gave examples of all the games that are being shut down in the next couple of months or have been shut down. I mean, these are games that are not going or going to be stopped, so you won't be able to access them again. So Destiny, on the other hand, is still going, so it's not really a dead game yet.
Listen, Dead Game commenters, you've been saying this for about the last 7 years of this game. You're going to need to find new material.
Yeah.
This has been a dead game since before Destiny 2 launched. So maybe not. Maybe
Only a little bit.
people can
Only a
play
little bit.
whatever they want to play. Shocking, I know.
So, did you guys get your emblems? Did you get all 3?
I sure didn't.
Oh, I brought my laptop with me to Louisiana,
Mm-hmm.
and I get there, I pull out the laptop, I pull up my mouse and everything like that. I'm like, Luna, where's my power cord? She goes, oh, I took it out of the suitcase to make room for clothes. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Sorry, what? You did what?
That's not important. And of course it's not just like, I need a USB power cable anywhere, right? It's a proper whatever,
Well, I have
cable.
an A51 Alienware laptop with the big jet engines
Right.
exhaust on the back. So not only do I have a massive power cable, I have 2 of them. One for the laptop, one for the graphics card by itself. So, yeah. You kind of need those. So yeah, I didn't get to play any Destiny at all the entire time. That's actually how my brother got me hooked on Balatro, because I was bored, and he's all like, "Well, try this," and I was like, "Oh my god, why did you show me this? You're a..." So yeah.
But he's back off Destiny. Yeah, I got the first emblem like the first week and thought, oh, that actually wasn't too bad. This gives me hope for the rest of them. I then never saw another emblem the rest of the event. Not one. So I got the Ikora one, never saw the other 2. And I don't know, I feel like I never opened that many packages because I feel like I just never earned I didn't just grind. Well, I didn't grind the proper things to get enough materials to do it. I wasn't doing strictly playlist things. I was doing Contest of Elders and I was doing Onslaught, playing the game that I wanted to play. and thus not receiving nearly as many materials as I could have. So I opened a good number of packages, but just never saw the other two. And it eventually was just like, this is just how this is going to be. If they're just not going to drop, I'm not going to sweat over it. One, because like they weren't, they weren't emblems I was like dying to have anyway. I'm going, yeah, they're fine, but they're not anything special. And two, I'm like, if this is the way it's going to be, I'm just not going to stress out over it.
Yeah,
because it's a random drop, and I'm just not going to kill myself trying to get these random drops playing only the activities.
see,
Only the activities that were like, no, you must play these 3.
I got the one, and then I
all you can
stressed.
do.
I was like, I can't deal with just the one. They look good as a full set, so I've put them on the individual characters now. And when I load up Destiny, they're on each individual character. They look really cool. But
oh yeah, agreed. Yeah, as a set, they look great. As just here's one randomly. It's fine, but it would have been nice to have some kind of path to getting them versus just hope for the best. Which, I mean, I get it. That's what it is. That's what it was. But here we are. Got a couple of good Contest of Elder runs done, and got my. I foolishly had done all of the event card stuff.
Yeah.
And then looked at Starbaker and said, "Oh, I need to get kills with the weapons. I need to get a lot of kills with the weapons." I was about halfway done my snowballs at that point. But then I had like 10 weapon kills, like just some tiny number of weapon kills, because I had just not looked at it and going, "Oh, what else do I need to do?" Which I should remember, because every time there's an event, there's always something to get kills with that event's weapons. And so I put on my trusty Avalanche and then loaded up my single Glacioclasm I had gotten a drop, and between that and the Glaive, the Abito Wing. And then one of the Stay Frosties was just like, all right, we're going to run these 3 weapons. In what activity? Every activity. Nightfall, those weapons. Gambit, those weapons. All 3, all the time.
Yep.
So ran those, got the kills done, grabbed my way through that. Did resort to going to Grasp of Avarice for a little while and just farming the Thrall there. Because they just come out endlessly. So I was like, I could do this, but I don't quite have enough time to mindlessly sit and just go murder things elsewhere. And maybe if I had, then I would have had more materials to get gifts in return. But got it done. Got the thing builded.
That's why I said, that first week when that Into the Deep mission came up, it's like every 3 weeks it comes up, and if I've run out of kind of whatever the season kind of what I need, I can go there and just kind of farm those through kind of forever. And that's when I kind of stumbled over, like, I've got to then do the void kills, because I was using the Graviton Lance, and it popped up on the screen. I was like, void kill. Oh, that means I've got to do art kills. That means I've got to do this kills. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, I also need to use the weapons as well. So if I double up on kind of Stay Frosty, which is a stasis weapon, I can then do the season weapons with the Stay Frosty, and but that's why I kind of managed to get all that material to start off with. And it was like, I'll just wait to the end and pop all the things, and hopefully I'll get it all done, which I did. I was quite kind of pleasantly surprised. But yeah, and I mean, there was still kind of have to go into the playlist and do this. It was like, go and play some Dares of Eternity or Vanguard, or go and play Crucible and Gambit. And it's like, okay, we'll do this one. So
yeah, it just another event. I wish I could have done the Onslaught and the Contest of Elders I was doing and receive materials.
Yeah,
like, this is in the game, guys. Like, this, it would, just add more things to it.
I think you're asking for a bit much there, Peroty.
I am. Same thing we've been asking for since the last time and the time before that. But here we are. I did have a good laugh. That
are you using the Prince emo? Sorry, the chat was saying that you use the Prince emo emblem, Demon.
The what?
Chat is saying, of course, Demon uses the Prince emo emblem. So the emblem that you got, the new quote,
handcrafted hunter. It's the handcrafted hunter. That's why you're confusing me.
Well, they're saying the emo hunter. They're saying that you use what's his face's emblem.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, because he just said he had all 3 of them on. So yes, that would be one of them.
Which one did you keep on though? Which one do you currently have on?
I've got all 3. I've put them on the characters.
Yeah.
So
one is on each character.
Oh, I see. One for each class. I'm like, how the hell did you? What update happened over Christmas that you can put on 3 emblems? What the hell? All right.
It's a feature.
Right. Sorry, Peroty. I saw the chat say that. I was like, what the hell? Continue.
Made him forget now.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. What are the odds on us all playing Monster Hunter together, though? Is there, I mean, good odds, bad odds?
Is it a free game?
Is anything a free game these days?
Destiny.
Well, I mean, free on Game Pass. That also counts as free because I pay for it.
I don't
you
know
gotta
if
pay
it's going to
for
be
it,
on Game
so-
Pass.
Well, then probably slim and none. But
Damn.
I did have.
Can we just go with none?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to crush his dreams entirely, just mostly.
Okay.
But I
But,
mean, until Destiny
still
comes
has a
out with a
chance.
viable alternative, can we be like a Monster Hunter podcast?
I'm sure
Because
there's
it
one
comes-
already out there. Look,
All
you have to do- all you have to do these days is to go and listen to the DCP podcast, the Destiny Community Podcast, and they will talk about Monster Hunter forever.
Do they?
Yes.
Everything but Destiny. It's what the Destiny community has moved on to playing. They
Yeah.
were just ahead of the curve.
It's not out yet.
No, but they've played the beta and the alpha and everything else. So because
Right.
they're content, they're proper content creators, so they get access to it. We are hobby podcasters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
players.
I have access to it, and I don't think I fall into that category. I just don't think you guys are trying hard enough.
Exactly, we're not.
Yeah. No.
Give it a go. You might like it. Come on.
We might like it, yeah, but I like
It's a
Destiny more.
first-person shooter because you get guns in there. It's like a bow gun instead of a gun. You know, you have a gun that shoots different kinds of ammo, like shotgun ammo or freeze ammo or electric ammo or whatever, dude. You got options, man.
What if the monsters don't want to be hunted? What if they're nice monsters?
There are some nice monsters, actually. Yes, you don't have to hunt those. If you're a sycophant, you do, but you don't have to. It's mostly just the monsters that are causing problems, right? Like the ones that are, I don't know, freezing entire civilizations and murdering them. You kind of have to do something about, So
I mean, that sounds like a civilization's problem to me. It's not the monster's problem.
that what? And the monster's problem. No, anyway. No, I don't know, man. They're just really fun games. And honestly, because of the whole vault situation with Destiny, I got on this morning and I looked at my vault and I looked at my characters. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go into the Nightfalls and just delete everything I get that's not like an item, not a material. Because I can't be bothered to clean out the vault again.
Yeah, no, like see, you finally come around. You don't need anything from any of this. None of this matters. Just go play and delete things. It's not about the rewards. It's about the friends you made along the way.
Yeah.
You don't
And I
need
keep asking people like, oh, what's the requirements for the Sherpa? I'm like, first of all, there's no requirements, but you should probably make sure that I remember whatever raid you want me to Sherpa you through. It has been a while since I've done a raid because I'm just not really interested in these raids.
First, you have to provide a detailed breakdown video of the raid, so he remembers what the raid is and how it works.
No, I would go look it up and try to remember all the parts and whatnot. If somebody actually invoked that, which honestly, because I don't have a whole lot of time, I don't want to disappoint anybody with work and things like that. Finding time for a raid nowadays is kind of hard anyway. But if somebody invokes it, I have to honor it. I just, please don't. It's gonna be so hard. But yeah, I do want a Destiny alternative because, the game is one of those guilty pleasures that you do keep coming back to because it's a fun game, right? But they're just things that you just can't overlook anymore. They just become so irritating over the last, 10 years in just Destiny 2. Just Destiny 2, right? And then you have however many years of Destiny 1. And the vault has been a problem the entire time. And it's gotten to the point where I turn on the game, I look at the vault, and I'm just like, I'm already annoyed. And it's hard for me to enjoy the game that I'm annoyed at. Just by turning it on at this point, Now once I get in and I forget that I have a vault and I just start playing things like, oh yeah, I got friends, I got this, I got that, it's fun, but it's really hard for me lately to get past that first, oh yeah, I don't have any space for anything ever moment.
You don't need it. None of it's important.
That's
Yeah,
what
I
they
mean,
tell me.
yeah, I mean, at this point in the game, it's like, what about even honestly, like the weapon from the Dawning? I was looking at looking at the drops and watched like Fallout's video and a few others. Like, oh, here's what you should be looking for. I'm going. Most of these particular weapons, yes, I know they are good weapons overall, but they don't really do anything for me. Like the Stay Frosty, I was like, I don't really have a stasis pulse rifle, so having one of those that was decent wouldn't hurt. I've had a good avalanche for the last 3 or 4 dawnings, and the rest of the weapons just didn't really excite me. So I was like, I'm just gonna play and have a good time opening packages and delivering cookies, and just turn my brain off and go, I can deliver cookies and shoot people. What's not to love? And the stuff that got dropped, it's like, oh, here's a more weapons that you don't care about. Great, throw them in the vault, throw them in the trash. It just doesn't matter. Like it's a looter shooter. I'm gonna treat it more like, here's the things you get. They're not better than what you have, so just get rid of them. Just not important. That being said, the game is really trying to throw the Rosarago 4s at me. That Void auto rifle. It's going, here's another one. Here's another one. We know you like this gun. How about this one? How about this one? Would you like this one? Here's a slightly different roll in this one. And they've all been good rolls in different ways. So I don't know what the game's trying to do to me right now. But it's throwing me delicious auto rifles, and that's never a bad thing. I did have to laugh that Nitedemon.
Yeah.
They started the year out January 2nd at 3:06 p.m.
No,
in the proper way, going. So remember the Nightfall liminality? Well, or it had some issues, so it's gonna be Birthplace of the Vile, and the feature weapon is now the Raking Glaive again. So yeah, it's good that we're starting the new year out on the proper foot. Going, remember that thing you made? Yeah, no, that's not correct anymore.
I don't get it because yeah,
I mean, they want to make money, right? They want people to play their game, right? Am I the jacked up one here? Do you not want people playing your game? Do you not want to make money as a franchise? What am I missing here?
Well, I think
not Vanguard activities now.
Yeah, apparently
just ignore the Vanguard. You know what works? I know it works. Gambit works. Gambit works. It's beautiful.
Gambit's got its own issues, sir. You still have moats that fall through the floor. You still have glitches where you can ignore the boss's what you call it?
Damage spaces,
gates, health gates.
Yeah.
Damage gate. That's what I was thinking of.
Hey, it's no buggier than trying to pick up the things in Contest of Elders that also fall through the floor.
I didn't say it was buggier, but I'm just saying, like, it's not, quote, fixed. It doesn't, quote, work. It's just that, I mean, it's got its own subset of issues, too, right? Everything in the game is broken in one way or another,
I would say it works better than many other things do.
Well, it doesn't have that much to
I
do.
think for the size of the game, I think a lot of things work quite well together. I think it's certain issues. I mean, somebody obviously got Guitar Hero over Christmas and decided they were going to plug it in and wreck the Nightfalls, but I don't understand.
Wait, what? Somebody was at my door. I must have missed something. What the hell does Guitar Hero have to do with Destiny?
Because they're guitar errors.
Yeah, guitar errors were the ones that kind of
and they were playing too much Beat Saber, and that's why the glaives up again.
Yeah,
we cracked the case. We figured it out.
But they didn't step it back like one Nightfall. They stepped it back like about 5 Nightfalls. Like Birthplace of the Vile wasn't around for like about 5 weeks. I'm like, well, why have we gone right back to that? I mean, I know it's an easier one to do. A lot of people now it's an easy one. I remember when it came out, it was really hard, and a lot of people now actually like Birthplace of the Vile. But when Vile was out, it was the Scintillation. So they've kind of stepped that back about 3 or 4 weeks. Oh, we'll go with that one. And then they've gone, oh, let's throw the Rake Ankle in there. And I was like, well, why didn't you just stick with the Shadow Price? Because people do like the Shadow Price. And
people also really like the Rake Ankle, especially in PvP, which is kind of shocking to me. I mean, actually, it's not shocking. Its perks are really good for PvP, but like the fact that that's the glaive that people are using in PvP was kind of nutty.
But then do they then? I don't know what they're doing for the rotation for next week. Then I mean, it should be the Corrupted. And
they don't know what they're doing next week. Why are you still trying to figure it out?
It should be the Plug 1 with the Corrupted next week, but it could be whatever they want it to be now because they've decided to mess up. I mean, that's the other thing. Remember a couple of weeks ago, and it was in a TWAB where they said there was issues with the lost sectors, and they said there's going to be some changes to the lost sectors because some of the weapons aren't dropping in the lost sectors. Do we all remember this?
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
We sure do.
I don't think the lost sectors have changed. On the rotations, every day that I've checked, and I mean, admittedly, I haven't checked every single day, but I've checked to see if it's in this. For the beginning of the week, I'm going, well, am
You
I
have to
telling
check
people
every
the
single
right?
day? That's crazy.
Well, am I telling people like the right like lost sector for the beginning of this week? And has it been? And I've gone back and looked on like Twitter and seen what I can from like the lost sector thing that posts on Twitter, and I'm like, oh, it looks like it still hasn't changed for like the last 3 weeks. So what have they changed? Is it maybe they put one in that I've completely missed out, and every time I've checked, it's a different one. But yeah, I don't see the difference. So hey ho, we'll just go with whatever they're kind of maybe telling us or not telling us.
I'm pretty sure at this point there's a benefit. You could actually just do a video each week where you roll some dice. Like just grab some D20s, D6s. Just get your dice collection out and say, all right, guys, this week we're gonna have the nightfall of this, and just roll a dice, and then whatever it says, that's what it's gonna be. I think, or you can throw darts.
Hasn't played
You can throw
D&D.
darts
I'm
at a
surprised
dartboard.
you know what those dice are.
I've played D&D.
Oh, I
It's
thought you
been a
said you
while.
didn't. Was it Nitedemon that said he didn't?
No,
Yeah,
just
I haven't played. No, I haven't. No.
Yeah.
Apologies.
But he knows what dice are and can count the numbers. So see, just
Yeah.
you grab your dice out and be like,
Yeah, but D20 isn't exactly a dice you come across like in everyday activities. You know what I'm saying?
I have got some D20 dice.
yeah. I mean, along the way, you just sort of acquire them. There's some drop you get as you just acquire your nerdness, and the dice just come into your possession, whether you're using them actively or not. Unimportant. You just acquire them. They're just there. Just hang out in a corner somewhere.
No, I did actually purchase them from a Games Workshop shop because I was building a game for when I was at university. We had to design a board game, so I came up with this board game that had elements of D&D and it also had elements of other things. So it was like anyway. But I've got the dice basically.
Yeah. I mean,
Elements
sometimes you
of
go with
D&D,
your friend to the
again,
shop.
if you've never played, how do you know any of this? I want to play D&D with you guys. Come on.
I can read a D&D book.
You can be in and around the culture and be aware of it without having ever actually played it.
Yeah.
Not true.
Or watched one of the many, sort of D&D campaigns that people do for, people do as content. You can follow along because it's story, with the storytelling and everything.
I gotcha. So Critical Role, Viva La Dirt League, things like that.
Yeah, thank you. I was drawing a total blank. I was like, there's a really popular one that I could not remember. But yeah, them or anybody else.
Critical Role is the popular one, but I
right. Yeah.
Viva La Dirt League because they're real funny. They're the guys that do like the
Dirt League's great.
Oh god, they're so funny.
Do all the NPCs, things from the perspective of the NPCs and games.
Yep.
Like that. So yeah, I mean, I think at this point you should either just adopt the dartboard or the dice roll of here's what we're gonna have this week.
I can't do it. I really can't do it.
Like,
my OCD
maybe
kicks in. I can't. I have to tell people, and I told you I get really stressed when I get it wrong because I'm like I've told people the wrong thing, and now I say when I'm telling people,
it's not your fault though, right? So that's why I'm like, well, no, you need to stop putting the videos out. Then if Destiny is going to keep making you give bad info based on the info they've given you, then stop putting out those videos in particular. I'm not telling you to stop the videos in general, but the videos that you depend on Destiny giving you accurate information and they haven't been, then it's an abusive relationship and you're not winning.
No, I am winning. I won last week. I predicted every single thing correctly, down to the Vanguard and the Nightfall boost, as well as what was happening what was continuing in Crucible Labs, what was actually going to be the Crucible mode. And I was like, yay, I win for the first week. And then for the rest of the kind of year, I know it's going to be all up in the air. But I do preference it when I say in the video, it should be Control this week. It should be Sparrow Control. And I don't give the reason why it should be, but it should be because there's a challenge for like Sparrow Control with Splat. Like we said, it was auto-completed because obviously Splat's, not going to be there because they're not bringing Sparrow Control back for this season. So,
and Splat, if there's nothing to Splat.
Yeah.
It might be like, listen, it's going to be hardware supremacy and regular supremacy because we're upset that you're not playing enough supremacy. So we're going to give you both of the options at the same time and you're going to like it.
Well, I
think
think
that's just that.
I think this week coming up in the rotation, it should be Clash in the Party Relentless playlist. And also, if we've still got the 2v2 Clash in the Crucible Labs, there'll be double Clash. So
Double Clash, perfect.
but we do have the beginning of the new Act 3, with an exotic mission. So we can all go and get our Void exotic shotgun, which does weird firing methods that we did see when they did the little developer stream. And they said they're not going to do another one before this one drops. And then they're not going to tell us anything about this season. So not this season, this episode,
They don't know either.
this act. Seasons, acts, episodes. It's I wish we did just stuck with the seasons. I know we wanted to kind of distance ourselves from seasons because that was part of the old Destiny, and we kind of want to move on to the new Destiny. It didn't work, but yeah.
Right now, nothing does anymore.
But saying that though, I mean, I was listening to, as I always do, listen to lots of other opinions about Destiny and things like that. And Destiny built to the kind of the 10-year franchise and did knock it out of the park with the final shape. Everybody said it was fantastic, or it got rave reviews. And then what came afterwards was the kind of it didn't hit the expectations of where we'd kind of been. And I don't necessarily think that is a Bungie problem. I think it's just a general problem when you're kind of creating big franchises like this. And you only have to look at what Disney and Marvel did with the Avengers. We set up all those movies with all those different characters, and we got to Endgame, and it was like this high of highs, and it was amazing. Destiny did practically the same kind of thing. They set up all these different things, and we got to the final shape, and we kicked the witness's ass, and that's it. Game over. And what came after with Marvel were a lot of I like them. I like the shows, but a lot of opinions were they were half-assed shows. They were kind of half-baked ideas, or they didn't live up to what had kind of come before. And a lot of people didn't like, we don't like She-Hulk. We don't like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We don't
because
like this.
a lot of these shows, it's not that they didn't live up to the hype. It's that one, these people are taking too much artistic license and they're not sticking to the source material. And if you got a bunch of nerds as your fan, you kind of need to stick
No, but
at least somewhat to the source material. And then the other thing is there's always
some of the source material.
They do not.
They do. I think the problem is that there's so much source material for all the different characters out there in Marvel anyway, is that if they're picking and choosing from parts that nobody is kind of, or isn't really kind of particularly liked with the fans, and then they are just going to dump on it and they're not going to like it.
But it's not just that though. Not only do they have issues with source materials, right? Like The Witcher being a big one, right? But we're not going to get into that. But they also they have to put some kind of a message in there. Marvel cannot, or actually I should say Disney cannot make a movie or a TV show without injecting some kind of a message, right? And that's really pissing a lot of people off. They're not here to be to attempt to be brainwashed and to have a message forced upon them. They're here to enjoy a comic book based movie, and that's what they want, and that's what they haven't been getting for a long time.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to stop you there.
I mean,
throughout time with the comics, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's always been a message in each of the comics. There's always been a kind of underlying thing that like X-Men with the racism and Spider-Man with this, and so it's it's not a Disney thing. It's been in the comics since it was it's ingrained in the comics. So
that's the source material.
Yeah. And I think the problem is
not the message that they're sticking to. They're adding a bunch of extra crap. Is what I'm saying.
I think the thing is that they're trying to be up to date with the world as it is today, which is what the comics kind of try and do as well. But I think because a lot of people see like the Disney thing and they're like, oh, Disney bad. Not all Disney is bad. And you may say I'm wrong, but I think because people see that the Disney have kind of got hold of this, they do it with Star Wars. Star Wars is too woke. Star Wars is this. Star Wars is that. It's like, maybe they are.
I mean, when the Force can give you a baby just because it's two women, that's pretty f***ing woke. And it's not even called the Force anymore. It's called what, the Strand or the
What are you talking
Weave
about?
or something. The Acolyte, right? They were able to have babies because the Force impregnated women miraculously in
So
all
you're-
women's societies.
So
Did
you're
you not watch the
upset.
Acolyte?
No,
Yeah, I saw the Acolyte, but you're upset that
you're upset that your
Anakin was
sci-fi show is doing
conceived.
sci-fi things.
No.
Anakin was
I'm not
conceived by the
I'm not
Force.
upset at all. No, well,
Well, yeah,
Anakin
let's go back to
was
episode 1, shall we? Episode 1,
Anakin was conceived
Anakin,
because people actively manipulated the Force to impregnate.
and
I don't
that's
know.
what happened in the
That's weird.
Acolyte. That's
That's
what
weird.
happened in the Acolyte. They were
Mm.
trying to lay this. They were trying to lay the groundwork of how it worked with Anakin. So they were like, "Well, this is what kind of people did." So that's how kind of, and I think they were trying to get to the point of Palpatine being able to, or Plagueis being able to manipulate the Force and actually put it into a person to create a being to then just be like Anakin. And because they cancelled it,
Well,
you
back
don't
to
really
Destiny
know.
just for a second.
Okay.
Right?
Good.
The Act 2 field work. Mine is still bugged that I can't proceed. So I can't even get to Act 3 to get the exotic.
He hasn't started yet.
Well, no, ever since, if y'all remember, weeks and weeks and weeks ago, when I was trying to get all the Act 2 stuff done, I hit a wall right here. I was able to finish the Minor Fieldwork 1 in Europa, and then I hit that wall where I can't do any more Minor Fieldworks. It keeps telling me I need to unlock more stuff, but I've looked everywhere online. I've unlocked everything that can be unlocked, and it will not give me another fieldwork to find another recipe. It won't.
Have you tried?
I am soft locked.
Have you
I
tried on
cannot
another
proceed
character?
further. No, because none of my characters are this far progressed, unless this carries over to other characters.
The progress that you've made with the potions carries over, but you will have to do the initial steps of the act to gain access to the potions, to then gain access to the field work, and it should work.
Don's
but
saying
it
that
may
he's
not.
got the same issue and it's bugged. Don, have you tried using another character to get past this, or am I just boned? Because I'm not going to jump on another character, do all this progression, only to hit the same wall.
I think the thing is, you to negate it, you'd have to have done it at the same time. So you have to run both the characters at the same time, which is what I did, which is why I had no issue, because I wanted to unlock all the field work. Because once you kind of get all the potions, you can go on each character and then grab like the first 3 on one character, and then go jump on the next character and grab the next 3, because the game doesn't recognize you've completed them. So that's how I was able to kind of max out, and a lot of people were maxing out their field works and being able to do it quicker than what actually the game was allowing
Yeah, but if
you
you
to do.
didn't progressively run 3 characters, then you're just boned. Because Don just said that he tried another character, getting the character caught up, and he still can't progress.
Okay.
So people like me and Don that are stuck right here on Minor Field Work 2,
Yeah.
we cannot progress the game at all.
Until next week. Don't worry.
What happens next week?
Act 3 drops, and you'll be able to progress even further.
Okay, how will I be able to progress if I can't unlock any new tinctures?
You
Are
will
they
be
going
able
to
to
autocomplete for me?
week. There's more potions that will be available next week in Act 3. There's a new a flake, I can't remember the name of it, that's going to be available in the Kel's Full exotic mission. And then that will give you more access to more potions, which would hopefully unlock it. And then if Bungie get on top of it, they might be able to kind of retroactive kind of allow people to kind of do the previous fieldworks.
This is ridiculous. Like, especially now that there's an exotic involved, because I completely forgot about the exotic, right? Now that there's an exotic involved, I physically cannot unlock any more tinctures at all. I've done everything I can do, and I am soft locked. And now, apparently, I'm soft locked from an exotic, and that irritates me even more from playing this game.
But how does that compare? Like we were talking about, like the Star Wars and the Marvel kind of thing, and it's the as I said, I don't think it's a Bungie thing. I think it's just in general. If you haven't got the next big thing there already, Marvel didn't have the next big thing. I think they thought they had the next big thing.
I'm just talking about making the current thing work, dude.
But I think that's the thing, is that Marvel. I think Marvel thought that their secondary characters would be able to kind of take it, and then would be able to introduce more characters like the Eternals, and kind of and and people would just kind of embrace it and go forward. And I think Bungie did the same kind of thing. It's like, we'll do these episodes and we'll kind of just tie up the loose ends, and that will be and try and tie people over until we get to the next big bad. And Marvel made the mistake, and Bungie have made the mistake, and Star Wars has made the mistake sometimes with different things. It's like it's a constant loop of these places not being able to kind of keep the people's attention, or get hoping people just kind of blindly follow, and it's not happening. Sorry, Peroty, you wanted to say something?
This sort of dovetails really nicely into sort of my, as the I did not grow up reading comic books. I don't have a deep wealth of information about things. My experience with all these characters is movies and TV shows. Like that is the breadth and depth of all of my knowledge of all these characters.
Yeah, me too.
And it's one thing to go, oh, well that's Spider-Man. I know Spider-Man. I know Iron Man. Like I know the Hulk. And then to have to both know all of the other characters and like people, again, I was watching. I finally got around to watching Deadpool and Wolverine last night. Mm-hmm. The number of people popped up on screen, I'm going, I vaguely remember you, but I don't remember you. And I've had the same thought watching some of the other Marvel stuff too. I'm going, I don't like clearly you're sort of winking. The cameraman's going, huh? Hey, is this person? You remember them? I'm going, no, or oh, this is a thing. And I can tell. Did you
get the Fantastic Four reference though? The whole Johnny Storm thing.
Yeah, that I saw because I saw those movies. But I can tell I'm the horse being led to water, but I'm not able to drink because I don't know what they're trying to lead me to. Like clearly, the movie's going, huh? Remember this guy? Remember this lady? You know how this ties in? I'm going, no, I really don't. And Destiny, I feel like Destiny and the Marvel universe are sort of in the same spot of you have to know not just what's going on, but all the backstory and all the other things and all the who this character is and all this little teaser we're going to show you means something, and that is what the next big thing's going to be. And I'm going, I had to go to the internet to read someone's, hey, what was that ending credit scene all about? Because I'm going, clearly you're teasing something big. I don't know what that is.
And the lack of knowledge also can hurt the movie. Like for example, remember the scene where Deadpool is looking for the Wolverines and he finds the Wolverine crucified on a big X? Remember that?
Yeah.
There's a lot of lore behind that, like a lot of lore.
Right.
But
a lot of people this is obviously a thing.
Reference, and because he called himself Marvel Jesus, they thought that was another reference, and it was a crucifixion scene, and people got all, especially in the Christian community. It's like, no, that's not what that's about. You're getting upset for the wrong reasons.
For the right reasons. Explain it to me better. There's like part of me is going, I wish there was something like the Amazon X-ray thing who would be like, hey, here's who this actor is. I would like a Marvel version of I would like a Disney Plus and X-ray to go, hey, who is this person and why should I care about them when it pops up on screen? Or hey, what is this all about? I mean, I would love the choose your own adventure version of this going, here's what we're trying to lead you to and what we're trying to sort of wink and nod to that you super nerds know all about. Yeah. And the rest of us are going, yep, this is a thing you're trying to tease, but I don't know what you're teasing.
Well, do you remember the movie where what was it called? Dark Phoenix, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Well, Wolverine has to kill the Phoenix, has to kill Jean.
That's X-Men 3.
Right. Well, this Wolverine didn't do that, right? And one of the consequences of him not killing her is that humans are like, oh, well, now we have to kill all mutants because one like her exists. So because he didn't kill her, it led the humans to basically go to Charles's house and kill all of his friends and family, and that led him to retaliate and go kill a ton of humans, right? And that's why he's the worst Wolverine ever, right? That's his whole backstory. But they didn't do a really good job at explaining that. They kind of hinted at it, but like
not even a little bit.
Yeah. So that's why he's the worst Wolverine. He didn't kill her. It led to humans killing everybody at the X-Men house. And when he was off getting drunk, when he should have been there protecting them, right? Yeah. So,
but for things like that, with the Marvel films and the Star Wars things and anything that I'm not sure about, I will watch the film and then I will immediately go to like Screencraft or New Rockstar and watch like their explanation video of like that episode of Star Wars or that series of Marvel. And I'm like, okay, so I now know who that character is and why that has consequence. I mean, I didn't know who Null was at the end of like at the beginning of the Venom movie, but now I know. And then they're kind of hypothesizing where
You don't know who was?
Null and the symbiotes and all that. The symbiote
Are you
war.
saying Null? Null? Null?
Null, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I didn't know any of the kind of backstory about that until I watched like the Screen Crush video or the New Rockstar video that explains his backstory and then goes, right, this is where they could kind of place him. It could be a Tom Holland thing, or he could be going into the Marvel. It's like, and then you have all of that issues with the Sony verse and the Marvel verse, and it's like, oh my god, this is that's confusing, probably for Marvel in themselves. So it's like
the part that upset me is at the end of Venom 2. They teased at the coming of not Venom, Toxin, right? Toxin is the offspring between Venom and Carnage, right? So you know how when the symbiotes mix together and things like that, that's also kind of how they breed. I'm not going to get into it because it's a whole complicated thing. But that intermingling mixed genetic information, and that creates another one called Toxin. And Toxin completely wrecks both of them. And Toxin is another kind of like anti-hero character, kind of like Deadpool, right? But not like a smart aleck or anything. He just has moral issues, right? Because the cop that he inhabits is obviously all about law and order, and Toxin is like vigilanteism kind of thing, you know? But vigilanteism, like, I'm going to kill the bad guy, not just apprehend the bad guy, and that causes a lot of conflicts between him and his cop host, right? But the Toxin we got was nowhere close to that. I'm like,
yes, but that again is down to Sony and the issues that Sony have got with trying to make their enemy or the baddies into anti-heroes so that you kind of like them, like they've done with the Craven movie, like they did with the Madam Web, like they did. I mean, Venom was one of the only ones that kind of worked with him being the anti-hero that actually I think people liked and gravitated towards. And
I think it's because the actor made Venom good.
Oh yeah, I mean, Tom Hardy was amazing.
Tom Hardy's amazing, yeah.
But I think the thing is that character could then be introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but the actual Venom that we got in the Spider-Man film with Sam Raimi is the kind of the evil one, which should have been the one that we kind of it should be in the Spider-Verse, but it isn't because Sony wanted to make money and they wanted to kind of make these films. So Sony have kind of created their own kind of their worst enemies. So they've got all these, they've got Spider-Man and the multiple casts of enemies that he can go up against, and they can make these single movies, but they've got to kind of make them the anti-hero. You've got to like these baddies, but you don't necessarily have to in the comics. And it that's their issue. But getting back to kind of Destiny,
they just stick to the material though, they'd be fine, right? Like Miles Morales, very close to the source material, did very well. But like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, those were like the most comically accurate movies I've ever seen. I loved how accurate they were to the comics, but people didn't take them very well.
I like the Andrew Garfield ones
because most of us have. Honestly, I would go the other way around. The Miles Morales movies are incredible, partially for the filmmaking, like the animation style that was amazing. Yeah, Tom Holland movies were fine, but like again, coming to this with zero knowledge of the comics, I'm like, it's a fun. Like I'm looking at this as it's a movie. Like I come to this with no baggage one way or the other.
Yeah,
I'm like,
almost like ignorance is bliss in your case, because when you have the backstory, a lot of these just kind of.
No, exactly. Like I go into all of these going, like I might have a vague knowledge base, but I know nothing about the depth of the comics, and I'm not about to start now trying to catch up on where do you even begin on 40, 50, 60 years of a character's life and arcs. And like I come to this going, this and I think actually you just hit on another thing. I think introducing a multiverse just makes all of this more complex. And I think it's really a real quick way to lose people.
Well, this
multiverse, and there's this version and that version, and I'm going like even again going back to Wolverine and Deadpool. They're like, this is Earth version this, and this is Earth version that. I'm going, okay, those are two different versions of Earth. Beyond that, I don't know what that means. I don't like clearly there's significance here to these different versions of Earth. I don't know what that is. So I mean, cool, but like it doesn't mean anything to me as
I
a
think
movie
Deadpool
watcher.
did it quite well with how they did it to try and explain in layman's terms to people how these multiverses work. Whereas if you kind of watch Loki, there's a lot more kind of in-depth kind of, you have to kind of follow the story, otherwise you're not kind of following what's actually happening with all these kind of branches and the Kang kind of variant timeline thing that was going on, and then you have to watch like Ant-Man to kind of understand where that's kind of going or
Right.
should have been going. And then
and
the issues they then had with the legal side of that, and then
yeah. I mean, that's just the whole other part of it is just you've got to have watched all of these to get context for any of them.
Yeah.
Which I think again you're going to lose a lot of people because maybe you loved one or two of these, but you didn't watch every single thing, every single movie, every single TV show. Like I got a lot of context for this having watched Loki. Had I not watched Loki, I would have spent a lot of this movie going, okay, I know what the TVA is by context, but clearly there's a lot here that I'm not would not be getting if I didn't watch everything. And it's like you can. There are some people who absolutely, are mega fans and have watched all this and know the lore and have read the comics. And some of us going, these aren't good on their own. I'm not going to watch them just because they exist. You need to make, they need to stand on their own 2 feet. And watching this going, this is clearly part of a bigger, it's like trying to read a series of books and you come in on book 4 and you're like, well, clearly we have a lot of well-established characters here. I don't know what you're referring to. I don't know all these callbacks you're making. Hey, remember this guy from 8 years ago in this movie? No, I absolutely do not. I can tell you're going, it's this guy. Remember what he did? No,
nope.
I really don't.
Yeah, but the only reason that the multiverse exists is because even in the comics, they were trying to find a way to continue making revenue, but they had already finished a lot of these arcs. You know?
Right, yeah, no, I mean, like nobody ever dies. Like, and that's the part of this that I wish I could go back to younger me who didn't understand. Oh, why did that character die? Well, because that actor's contract ended, or when they went to go do this show, they didn't die. It's like something happened. Now that human being has to go do something else. Like, there's so much of it now as an adult you understand and you see, and you're like, okay, so that's why that happened. Or that's why Spider-Man couldn't be in these movies, because it's a rights issue, not because of a storytelling issue. But
go back to Destiny. The mobile Destiny, when is that coming out for like permanent?
I haven't
later.
Heard. Yeah, later.
Yeah, I haven't seen
that
anything.
Timeline's not available at the moment.
Did you say later?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's it coming out later?
Later.
Well, no, I mean after the preview, I haven't seen anything on it either. So I assume
was it any good? I mean, what were the reviews on it? Are they going to push forward with it? Because I haven't heard anything good, bad, or indifferent about that game.
I mean, the handful of videos I watched that the Destiny creators put out and played, they said, I mean, it's more Destiny, it's different Destiny, but it's more Destiny. So good, bad, or otherwise, that's where we're at. I mean, I think they're definitely gonna continue with it. Like it wasn't like, oh god, we have to bring this back to the drawing board. None of this worked. So I mean, I assume it's coming. I just I haven't heard about when. Not that I've been closely following it because I have Bungie tell me what's going on with their game franchise, and sometimes they do a good job of that.
They're not telling us anything.
That's because they're on holiday.
Yeah,
forever.
No, it's been a rough year. If they took January off, I wouldn't blame them either.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, if the next 12 comes out and they go, look, guys, here's what's happening in the next 3 weeks. We're not going to be bothering writing any more stuff. We're just going to have some time to kind of focus. So get on with it.
We're going to come out with a big patch. Great.
Yeah.
You could just tell me that and be like, we're going to patch a lot of things. That's what's going to be. Perfect. Roll with it. Love it.
You guys can figure it out. Well, we think it's going to do this.
No, we're not even going to tell you. They're just going to go, there's going to be a patch. That's it. You guys can read all about it or figure it out when it kind of comes out.
It's probably figure it out because they're not going to tell anybody what it does because it's probably not going to do what they wanted it to do. It's probably going to do things they didn't want it to do. And there's going to be a few surprises that nobody expected.
That way, if they don't tell us what's in it and what it's going to fix, is that if it doesn't fix the thing that it needs to fix, we don't know, and then we can't moan about it.
Yeah,
Hey
it's fine.
guys, we found a new feature in our latest patch where if you remove an item from the vault, you're locked out of the vault for 24 hours. So, yeah, it's a new feature to teach you how to do
Yeah.
vault management.
Yeah, exactly. We call this the Destiny Classic expansion, where yeah, you just have to go back to the olden days. So here's something a debate I've been seeing online over the Christmas break was basically sort of people talking about what we've alluded to. We've beaten the big bad. We've for 10 years we've been building up to this fight. The fight's over. We beat the big bad, and now we're just kind of cleaning up, hanging out. Like how much and people going back and forth. Some people say Destiny's in sort of the spot where it is. Part of it is because of the story, because of the storytelling. It's like we're pushing the narrative forward, but it's not like but we don't really know where it's going at this point. It's not like, oh, we're building up to this thing or we're continuing this fight. We're sort of in this holding pattern of, okay, we've beaten the big bad and now we're off licking our wounds and figuring out what to do next.
Yeah.
I guess
Cade's
how
lost for a
much.
second time.
Well, yeah, but like I mean, like, and some people are like, I don't care about the story of this at all. They're like, they're like, I need the loot to be good. I need the game to be in a good state. Technically, So I guess my question of the two of you, and I'm pretty sure I know where you'll come down on, but just like how much of it of your enjoyment of Destiny or not has to do with the story, and how much of it is does the game work? Is the loop worth playing? So if the story were to completely go away or change drastically, would that affect your enjoyment of the game? Sort of, is it all about the loot and all about the activities, or does the story being good, bad, or understandable matter?
I was gonna let Demon go first because I had a lot to say.
No, you go first. It's fine.
All right. Well, story used to be a huge part of this game for me. I used to be a lore nerd and all about the lore, reading the lore and all the weapons and everything like that, right? Because they had good plot development, good characters, a lot of things, right? And then when Cade died, it felt like a lot of that character development died with him. I'm not saying Cade was the be all end all, right? But it seems like that era where Cade existed, they cared a lot more about building the characters, making you like the characters, making you interact with the characters themselves. You know what I mean? And then when Nathan Fillion went to go off to do that TV show and other stuff that he went to do, they had to kill off Cade, and then people are like, now what? It's almost like they stopped caring a little bit. And since then, the storyline has been kind of meh. There's been a few good points here and there where I'm like, what? Right? But they're far, far fewer and less often than what it used to be. The story was very important to me, but nowadays it's just kind of I play the game for the loot now, I guess, to answer your question in the simplest terms.
I think I've
So
always played the game for the loot, and I've enjoyed the story, and always liked the Crucible, trying all the different modes, trying to do all the raids, and I think the other thing is that as a community from Destiny 1, we've all kind of grown up with Destiny. So whether you started when you were like 15 and now you're 25, or you started when you were 35 and now you're 45, I think that also has knock-on effects to playing the game and how much time that you play the game. And I think the thing is that Bungie haven't done a really good job. And we've all said this, not just us, other podcasts, other content creators. They've not done a good job of onboarding new players to get them into the game. And I think that is one of their weaknesses of getting people to keep up playing this game, because I think if you get people interested in this game, they do stay for the long term and enjoy playing the game. And we've seen throughout lots of communities and lots of content creators that life happens. Content creators are saying, oh, I've had a kid, I can't kind of put up the same amount of kind of effort that I used to be able to do. I will still do this, and this, but I've got a family now. It's like, and it's the same for all the kind of the Destiny players, that if you've been here for a long time, if you've been here for the 10 years, that's had a knock-on effect of, you playing, unless you were kind of a single person in your mum's basement, which is kind of the old joke of the gamers kind of thing. life kind of does kind of have this effect on people of like taking over or like minimizing how much you can play. And
Life finds a way.
yeah. And I think that the other thing is that they shouldn't have. I don't think they should have concluded with a big bad. I think we had a, we could maybe we fought a big enemy at the end, and that's the end of it. And then it should have been something like a big Galactus figure in the background going, well, I'm controlling all of this. You've got to come and find me, to tease what was kind of coming or lead us into we need to grow more in power because otherwise we're not going to, and kind of not actually get to the end. Because I think that was one of the downfalls, is that yes, it was fantastic to be able to fight the Witness and take them down. It was, and then you get to the Marvel Endgame situation of what do we do now? We've lost.
He's getting a follow-up. Yeah.
we've lost two of our main characters, and our support characters are good, but are they good enough to kind of carry the franchise? And let's face it, we joked about Ikora for many years with her just building that one Stargate and not actually doing much with the kind of the thing. And they've kind of just, let's let Crow do a lot of things, which kind of didn't help with the story because people didn't like the fact that Crow was the person that killed Cade. And yes, he had his redemption arc, and we've kind of gotten over that. Hopefully, Hunters, you've got over that.
No, we did not. Because I understand Cade forgiving him for shooting him because he was possessed. But for them to go from you shot me in the face to did we just become friends? No.
Look,
absolutely not.
Somehow Destiny needed to get to replacing the Vanguard, the Hunter Vanguard, and they were just going to shoehorn it in with the Dare, but they didn't dare do that because they wanted
with the Braid, not Elsie.
Yes, but
freaking God, what's her name? Not Elsie, the other Braid sister.
Anna. Look, listen, at the end of the day, you could see that arc coming a mile away. He wakes up, he's now he's taking on the Dare, and a lot of people knew about the Dare at this point. It's not like you have to go and find it in the lore.
He didn't win the Dare, though. Aldrin won the Dare.
Yes,
but did not win the Dare.
Yes, but then he came back as a Guardian, so he then wins the Dare kind of thing. But at the end of the day, Bungie were trying to shoehorn that in as him then becoming the Vanguard, the Hunter Vanguard, but they couldn't do it because of the uproar in the Hunter community. It was like, well, we're going to have to find a way of maybe making it smooth over so that we can then give him the Hunter Vanguard at the end of the final shape. I think that was their kind of thinking.
I know that's what they were trying, but that was stupid. And no, they're not the same person. Destiny, the entire lore has said that when you're reborn as a Guardian, you are a different person.
How much would it upset the Hunter community if they'd have just given it to Cade and given it to Aldrin or Crow when he first appeared back?
That would have really upset people. Not go to him at all. I don't think he's a Hunter Vanguard. Anna Bray is a much better. She's analytical. She might not be as quirky as Cade is.
Yes, but that wasn't the story beats of the killing and setting up the Dare, was it?
Reboot her a couple times, she'll get there.
But yeah,
Brandon's not the robot Elsie is.
At the end of the day, I think it's that they've kind of. They should have been. There should have been a looming shadow. I think with the Gardener and the Winnower thing, kind of. Oh, is there a bigger bad kind of thing? And if you're not kind of following the law, you don't really know. Sometimes you have to take the horse to the water to show them. You have to have this kind of big shadow in the sky of and a big you haven't defeated me kind of thing. And we have to chase it down. We have to go to other solar systems. We have to follow the breadcrumbs. And maybe in 25 years' time, we finally chase them down. But at that point, you've had 25 years to kind of go, okay, we're now in a bigger solar system. There's something bigger over here that kind of needs to be defeated. Let's go and do that. And we can go and do a different story. I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot. But
I mean, I don't know. People are saying that they don't want her to be the Hunter Vanguard either. But at the same time, we have so much lore. There are so many good hunters in the lore. You could
harping on about it. At the end of the day, you've got what you've got. You've got to live with it.
I don't have to do anything. I go play Monster Hunter. Just forget that he's the Vanguard, man.
We've got the leader of the Vanguard who's basically human now. He's going to die. So.
And he's got a freaking man bun. It's a freaking man bun. Oh, that's so annoying.
No, Zavala hasn't got a man bun. He's bald.
No. I'm talking about
Crow. Yeah, I know you're talking about Crow. But I'm just saying.
He has no bun at all. If we're talking about Zavala, Zavala has nothing at all. He's a blooper.
I think it's taken Bungie a long time to go, hey, hang on, we're going to get to Frontiers and there's going to be an even bigger bad. And it's the same kind of, you can draw parallels with Marvel. It's the same thing as them. They've kind of stumbled over various different things. And then they're going, okay, Doomsday, we're going to go with Victor Von Doom. That's it. He's a big bad. And people are like, yeah, let's go with him. But don't forget about the Kang. We still need a Kang. It's like, no, we're going to go with Doom. Okay, we'll go with Doom then. And maybe we'll sort out Kang later. Yeah. And it's the same. It's the same with Bungie. It's like, we're going to go with the Gardener and the Winnower thing, and this big bad is going to be looming over here. But and we're kind of going, well, what about Ziva Arath? Ziva Arath, you set up a thing with Ziva? No, don't worry about that.
No, that's fine.
We'll come back to that. See, parallels.
Yeah. I mean, that's sort of where I was. Part of what I've been thinking over the break, as I've been looking at going, sort of watching some of the Marvel stuff I had backlogged and just never got around to watching. Same with the Destiny, and yeah, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, these two series are paralleling themselves. And we sort of got, we had the big story, we had the A-Team, we did the thing. Now it's like, okay, what do we do now? Now that we had the big fight and they did their thing, what are we supposed to do after that? And yeah, and then just and then I was again seeing some of the conversation around people going, I don't really care. Well, people saying, oh, well, the problem with Destiny is there is no big bad. There's no story. I have nothing narratively to talk about or to think about. And people are like, on the other side, going, I couldn't care less about the story. I'm just here because I want to play the game. I want the loot to be good. I want there to be a reason to turn this on.
But the problem is we do have a story.
Story being no, right? We do, but like we have a story. But but their point is sort of, is it a story that I care about, or is the story sort of like, is it cutscenes and things I'm skipping in the background, or is it a story I'm invested with and I'm actually like paying attention to, or is it just kind of there on the periphery going, yeah, there's a narrative, sure, but the narrative could be literally anything and it wouldn't really matter to some players. They want to get on, they want to get their loot, they want to play with their friends and have a good time. The story isn't really what draws them in. So good, bad, or otherwise, they're like, story is story. It's just there one way or the other. Whereas, the sort of the health of the game and the technical, how well does the game work and is there loot worth chasing? Is there things to do? That being a much bigger piece than anything going on in the story.
But like, we have access to time travel. We've used it to bring Saint 14 back, right? Why don't we use it to have? I mean, look, you can have a bunch of DLCs like What If, like there's a whole series of comics in the Marvel universe called What If. Like, what if all the Avengers were zombies? You know what I'm saying? Which actually was a great comic series. All the Avengers as zombies was kind of awesome. Anyway,
have you seen the What If TV series they did?
No,
because they've done a number of those, which I really enjoy. Going again, that's a way. I've always enjoyed an alternate history anything, so that was I really enjoyed those as a. I don't know the full backstory of this anyway, but you can set the stage and go, now what if this happened? Great, let's go.
Yeah, like what if we went back and stopped Shin Malphur from going bad, right? What would happen then? Would we have the Rose? Would we have the Thorn? I mean, we have so much lore to tap into that we could go back and play time skip shenanigans to just see or participate in some things. Or, you can just have DLCs of us as Guardians as some of these historical characters. Like, hey, you are Shin Malphur. This is why you went bad. This is why you started killing Guardians and, whatever, right? They're just not using what they already have. You don't need to make new story. You just need to use what you've already established. You don't even have to change it. Just show us what happened, like in the game instead of just in lore. Let us act it out in the game. Let it be a raid. Let us fight Shin Malphur, or let us fight Saint 14. Let us be Vex trying to take down Saint 14. Who knows? Whatever. You got options.
Blasphemy, sir.
Well, I didn't say we would beat him. I said we would fight him.
Yeah. I mean, we're never going to get our TV show and things, are we? Yeah, like there's such. I don't know. Like I'm much more squarely on the side of I would love to know the lore, but I'm going to need you to feed it to me with a spoon and not through the game necessarily. Or, I wish there was, like you said, there's so much story here. There's so much stuff here that as the player, yeah, I skip a lot of it. But two, I also just don't feel that invested in a lot of it. Like even, the season where I have read the lore and been invested because it surrounds characters I engage with more. Even then I'm like the ins and outs of this, I just like, again, I mean, and part of it is sort of the big giant universe problem of you have this massive universe and it's kind of hard to engage with. It's kind of hard to get into even after playing this game for this long. It's like, I don't remember like I know a lot of these, proper names and I know these people. I don't remember how they all relate. I don't remember what this person did or didn't do, 400,000 years ago or how, whenever the Dark Ages were. Like, yeah, like I know this is a bad person and things went wrong. How exactly? I don't really remember. Like,
you don't want to be there to watch. What was the Iron Lord who blapped somebody's head off? Who was that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that titan that just can slap somebody and their head comes off.
No, I mean, I would love to. I would love to engage with that story or see that story. Remember who the person even was. I mean, that's part of it. Is going. Remember that guy who did that thing? Who was that? I don't know. Because it's all bits and pieces and storybooks and fragments and grimoire cards from the first game. And I mean, I know we and I have definitely said this in the past. It's all bits and pieces of story. I would, having it more of a narrative, more of a front to back, here's how this goes format, I think, is just how I would enjoy interacting with it more.
Somebody was saying we could use the Vex time travel to bring Gamut Prime and the Reckoning back. How do you feel about that?
Yes. He would say yes.
Yeah.
Peroty's like, what? Yeah, we can do that? Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I mean, the game has already power crept into oblivion anyway, so why not?
Yeah, but the thing is, Bungie had an out. They had a kind of an excuse to kind of go, right, we fought the big bad. Oh, something's happened with Destiny 1. If you go right back to Destiny 1, when the stranger shows up and goes, I don't have time to tell you what don't have time to tell you, and then portals away, it's like, the discussion about the multiverses that we had in Destiny at that point, or the multiple different timelines. We had the dark timeline. We it's been hinted at in the lore where, Respawn says, the Drifter so and so or his own ghost or whatever. All those kind of timelines.
Yeah, we fed the Drifter his own ghost and then shot him in the face. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are other timelines that have been established. There was nothing from stopping Bungie going, in the causality of defeating the Witness, you've been sucked into this kind of portal and now you have to fight your way home. A bit like you did with, Star Trek Voyager. They had to kind of get home, but now you're in a different alternate kind of timeline universe. The enemies that you fought before are bigger, badder. They've taken over that universe and you are the saviors. You will have to kind of Sam Beckett kind of jump from universe to universe to universe until you can kind of somehow get back to your. There were many.
You really like that actor, huh? Star Trek Voyager to Quantum Leap.
But you know what I mean.
Actors in both, dude.
I know, yeah. But you know what I mean. They could have been a way, and then I think we've discussed it before that somehow you get transported back to the Battle of Six Fronts, and maybe it's in a different timeline, and you are the ones that kind of take on the mantle of being like the saviors in that storyline. There was a way of kind of integrating like the past that we've heard about in the tales or the lore, and kind of being able to kind of quantum leap around and do these different things until they can kind of get us back to our own universe. And because we've been missing in our own universe, maybe the bigger bad has kind of showed up, and we now spend the next 5 to 10 years kind of pushing them back with what we've learned in these other kind of timelines and things like that. It's just, and that way you could kind of have different exotics or exotics that were similar to what we've got now, and that's the way that they could have kind of completely wipe the slate with us at the end of the final shape. If you jump through this portal, that is the end. You kind of now go through and you've got no vault. You start again fresh. You just, there could have been many ways of kind of going. And I think that would have been quite exciting for people to kind of say, oh, well, it is Destiny 2, but it is Destiny 2 like off to the side and we're doing something else. And the Cabal are like 3 times the size that they are in our universe because they've kind of done this and done that, and they've made a pact with the darkness, or they're, they are the ones that are in control of the Taken. And there could have been many options. Just saying.
Yeah, and then you have the whole Guardians versus Warlords, right? That whole war that happened, where a bunch of the Guardians decided to be Warlords, and then you had the Guardians fighting the Warlords to stop that. I mean, there's a PvP scenario right there. Guardians versus Warlords. What team are you on? Kind of thing, just so much to tap into, and they haven't. And they're making a mobile game instead.
Well, they're not, are they?
Yeah, they're
Okay,
not,
fair
but
enough.
somebody else is. But yeah. I mean, there's just, I don't know. I mean, we've talked to death about what we'd like to see and what we hope they do and where we hope this goes. But yeah, I mean, just the parallels of these two massive franchises just felt very, very obvious over the Christmas
very
break.
similar.
Yeah, going, we sort of dug ourselves into the same hole. Look, here we are in both places, and what do you mean you don't want to engage with these minor characters you likely have never heard of before? They're important. Trust us. Are they though? do I know or care who any of these people are? If they live or die, they're characters, all right. They certainly are superheroes.
Retraction. Sam Beckett. Yes, Sam Beckett, not the actor. Sam Beckett was an Enterprise, not Voyager. My bad.
Yeah,
Please
I didn't say he was in Voyager, but I acknowledge the fact that he was in Star Trek. Yeah, I acknowledge the fact that you knew he was in Star Trek.
Yeah, but it was Sam Beckett. Sam Beckett quantum leaped into the captain in Enterprise.
Oh, okay. So, is that what happened? Is it okay? I didn't follow.
Yeah, because I don't know if you remember the end of Quantum Leap where he actually made it home, and then he didn't know he was home, so he leaped out. And then, he's like, oh, no, this isn't my home because this gate is always squeaked or whatever. And then, his mom comes out and thanks, the handyman for fixing the gate that's been squeaking for years. I was like, no! So when he quantum leaped out, he quantum leaped into the Enterprise captain, and he just kind of stayed there.
Okay. Nutcase.
Just being dumb. Oh, boy.
And he claims he doesn't have a good memory. Now I'm a little suspicious.
Well, that all happened before the brain damage. Any memories I have before the brain trauma, I keep. It's the new memories that are hard to process. Yeah. It's see what happens, the actual process. Real talk. There's a process in your brain where your short term kind of gets stored into the long term. That process in my brain is what's damaged, right?
So when we say to him, Peroty, when we say to him the previous week, we say, Respawn, we're going to have a week off. I've been forced into having a week off. I'm not doing editing. We're having a week off. And then he phones me on the Saturday saying, why are you guys not doing a podcast? I'm like, we're having a week off. Do you remember? And he's like, nope, I do not remember that. I'm definitely not podcasting with you in the car. So we're not doing this now.
If anything, at least I'm consistent.
The Quantum Leap podcast would be amazing.
Wouldn't it, though?
You definitely get my wife on that. She absolutely loves Quantum Leap.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. That next year or potentially next week, if they're still not back, I'm gonna need the two of them to sit down and talk about Quantum Leap. I'm also gonna need to remember anything about Quantum Leap so I can just sit back and appreciate it properly.
Now, do we include the new series, which kind of had elements or callbacks to the original Quantum Leap?
That's up to them. Wherever the two of them take the conversation, I think that's on them.
Because she's going to say no. She's not. She watched the first episode and she went, nope, not having none of this. Like, okay.
Mm-hmm. Gonna nope right out of here.
Too new agey for her taste. Not enough 80s in it.
Probably. Oh dear. And speaking of my wife, right? I explained to you guys before Christmas, I'd done everything. I'd done all the Christmas shopping. I'd got everything ready. There was nothing.
What'd you do wrong?
No, there was nothing to kind of. There was nothing for my wife to kind of go and do and go and get, which is, I wanted to take that off of her shoulders so she didn't have to worry about kind of getting the Christmas dinner, getting all the the snacks and things. I'd done everything. It was all kind of there, done. So I think it must have been.
And
then Christmas Eve.
Done and dusted though.
Yeah. Christmas Eve, I had done everything. I'd done everything. I'd even gone and got the fresh stuff, I think on the Monday before Christmas, because I wanted to get kind of some lettuce and a few other kind of like, I think cucumber and things. They wanted salad stuff, and you couldn't buy that a week before because it would just have been anyway. So she goes out Christmas Eve, and I said to her, "Why are you going out on Christmas Eve?" I just need to go out. I just need to go and do a bit of shopping. I was like, "Why? Everything is here. Why are you going? Just leave me alone. I need to go out and do some shopping." I said, "Fine. You go knock yourself out in all those crowds and the panics and things." So she goes out, and she goes out with her mum and I think my eldest daughter. And about 3 hours later, I get a phone call like, "Have you got this?" "Yes." "Have you got this?" "Have you got this?" "Have you got that?" I'm like, "Yes, yes, yes.
Mhm,
I've
mhm.
got everything." So then my mother-in-law in the background, "Has he got the chestnuts?" I'm like, "No. Why would I get the chestnuts?" They went, "You haven't got chestnuts." I'm like, "No, I didn't get chestnuts." "Do you know why I didn't get chestnuts?" They went, "Because you didn't get everything." I was like, "No, because you
Is
don't
the-
eat
is
the
this the
chestnuts.
first-
You
This is
don't
the
eat the
first I'm
chestnuts."
hearing of chestnuts.
No, every year we have chestnuts and they sit in the cupboard. They sit in the cupboard until somebody realizes about 6 months later and they go, "Oh, we can't have these now." Like, no, you
Listen,
wanted them at
it's
Christmas. They were
it's
sitting there.
tradition. Demon, it's tradition. You have to put them in the cupboard and leave them there for 6 months. Otherwise, the demons will come into next year and give
Tell
you
me
bad
about it.
luck.
So they ribbed me about these chestnuts and like, "Well, we're going to get some chestnuts and we're going to get this." Like, "Well, knock yourselves out. I don't care. Get the chestnuts and then come home." Right. So Christmas has happened. We've had New Year. Right. We've had an open fire literally every single day. I've made a fire, and today's the only day we haven't had a fire. Guess where the chestnuts are?
In the cupboard.
In the cupboard. Still in the cupboard. Nobody
Exactly
wanted
where they're
chestnuts at
supposed to
Christmas.
be.
Nobody wanted chestnuts at Christmas. So I was right. They were wrong. I just
You can't mess with tradition. They
I
go in
I
the
do like
cupboard
chestnuts.
and they sit right there.
I do like the chestnuts, and I would have bought them if I thought I would sit there and eat them. And I was thinking, we've got way too many snacks. The kids they're not going to go, "Let's have these chestnuts." They have things like that when they are the only things in the cupboard. They go, "Oh, let's have the marshmallows. Let's have the chestnuts," and things like, okay, we'll have them. But I know for a fact they're not going to be eaten. It's like,
Jumping on the wife bandwagon. My wife's birthday was yesterday, right?
okay,
And I am a notoriously bad gift giver. I don't know why. I just don't understand people. I try to get them things that they want and or need, and it never works out. I don't know why I'm so bad at gift giving. So I'm like, you know what? Instead of just like trying to give her a gift, she's always talk about, getting massages or getting her hair done or whatever, right? So I'm just gonna get her a $200 gift card to like a local salon, not a salon. What do you call it? Where they do massages and stuff, whatever those are called, right?
massage parlor.
It's more than that. It's a whole thing. A spa. Spa. That's the word. Spa.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
So I do that. Get her a $200 gift card. I give it to her on her birthday, and her face twists. I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Is that?" And then she says the name of the place. I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "I I don't like that place." I'm like, there was like 8 places in my city that I could have bought a gift certificate for.
And you chose the wrong place.
The one, right? And I'm all like, okay, well, I mean, and she tells me the reason. I'm like, all right, well, look, that's all fine and dandy. All you have to do is go in there, get whatever services you want, and then flip them off on your way out the door. Problem solved, right?
Mhm.
But the thing is like, she's all like, look, if you're ever confused what to get me, just give me a gift certificate. I'm like, that's what I need this time. Right? And she goes, no, just give me like a general gift certificate that I can use anywhere. I'm like, you have access to our bank account where all the money's at. So you want me to go into our bank account, buy you a gift certificate that you can use anywhere, and give that to you if I have nothing else to give you? She goes, yes. I'm like, that's just me giving you our debit card. She goes, no, it's different. I'm like, why? Is it different? I don't understand. What?
That money has been specially earmarked for that thing, so there's no guilt about spending it. It's for that thing, so that's what it has to be now.
Oh my God. None of it makes any sense to me, dude. I'm going to have to pay someone else to find a gift for my wife to buy my wife something and me take the credit for it. That's the only solution at this point, because I am so bad at this whole game. I can't even understand why a gift certificate is better than just giving her a debit card. It's coming out of the same account.
It's the thought that counts.
A gift certificate that goes anywhere to me is just saying I couldn't be bothered getting you a gift, so here's a gift certificate, right? That's what that tells me, At least the gift certificate I got, it's like, look, I know you've been stressed. Here's money to help you go relax. It is specifically marked for you to go relax, right? I thought that would be a good thing. And even when it comes to that, I suck. And I had somebody in the chat this morning who's like, hey, can you be my Sherpa when it comes to marriage? I was like, bro, you have no idea how badly I'm doing in that department at the moment. You don't want me to Sherpa that. Trust me.
Therapists, not Sherpas.
Yeah, right. Anyway, it's just so I get what you're saying with the whole wife never happy no matter what you do kind of thing. Only difference is you also got to deal with your mother-in-law. It sounds like. Luckily, my mother-in-law is in Brazil and doesn't speak English, so I'm good on both of those fronts. Peroty, did you have better luck with your? Well, actually, you already told us you had a good old time with your wife and everything, didn't you?
Yeah. I use the time-honored tradition of you're impossible to buy for, I'm impossible to buy for. Tell me what you like, and I will buy it for you.
I'd rather not just buy me anything, though. Like, is that so wrong? It's like, I know I suck at gift giving. I disappoint you every time. Just don't give me anything. That way I don't feel obligated to get you anything. Kind of like Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. Just don't give me anything. If I want it, I'll buy it.
That's basically where we're at. Like this for the last couple of years. Like basically every year we sit down and talk, and we're like, how has this year been? Do you want big proper gifts, or do you just want to be able to open things in December? And for the last couple of years, we've basically done like an advent calendar style Christmas, where we'll each buy each other 12. Her birthday's in December as well, so I always have to make sure honor the birthday, remember the birthday, acknowledge the birthday. December birthdays are rough. Make sure you make a big deal of it. So did that, done, dusted there. But the last couple of years, we basically have bought each other like 10 to 12 sort of smaller things, wrap them all into the tree. Then every day we basically take turns opening something. I'll open something one day, she opens something the next day. So it's just sort of like a December of opening things.
12 days of Christmas kind of thing?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, neither of us really get like Christmas Day. We're usually with her family or my family, or, someone's children involved. But like, it's just the two of us. We're like Christmas, again, we got up and played Stardew Valley all day and made a fire. Like that was our Christmas. Like there wasn't, until later on we had, went to go see family for dinner and stuff. But yeah, like Christmas, we just, again, we're at the point where like, if we need something or want it, we'll just buy it. So,
but isn't it irritating though?
We just find a collection of small things. I mean, not really, because I mean, like honestly, like half the stuff we got was, just small things. Like some of it was just candy. Some of it is, if you've ever run across the extremely accurate bird calendar,
what
is great fun.
Okay.
Since I firmly hit the bird watching age, so there is an extremely accurate bird calendar that I got last year and have giggled at the entire year. So I got to do one this year. Made it really easy for her. And there's a handful of things.
I'm just looking at the cover art. What?
You're welcome. It's a gift for everyone. So yeah. I mean, half of it was just like, hey, we found some really nice chocolates. We found last year. I found something that was called like the Perfect Man. That was a chocolate hollow man with marshmallows inside. You put in hot cocoa or coffee or something, and then it melts. Just silly things. I mean, most of the stuff we got is just silly. We went to see Taylor Swift this year. One of the things she really wanted was a Taylor Swift sweatshirt. I was like, great, perfect. That's that can be a perfect birthday gift. That's something you really want, you really enjoy. Yeah, I mean, it's the last couple of years, it's just been a handful of things of like, here's something I'll really enjoy. It's something small, it's something fun. And it's taken a lot of this, because again, we're both the same one. She's like, I would buy you tech stuff, but I don't even know where to start. And her taste in like, jewelry and things is, if I'll know it when I see it. So it's not like I can go say, oh, I know you like X. Let me buy you something of this. It's like, well, no, I really need to see it to know if I'm going to like it. So, last couple of years, we've just, half of it's been candy or treats. Some of it's just been, smaller things, small ridiculous things like the bird calendar.
But
So, yeah.
the part that really aggravates me is people know what to get me, like things that I didn't even know I wanted. Like Luna's super good at like when she gets me something, I'm like, this is awesome. I didn't even know it existed, and now I love it. Right? Kind of like my personalized Cade 6 with my gamer tag Yeti that my wife got for me. Right? Didn't know that was a thing. Didn't know you could customize it like that. And now I have it, and it's amazing. And my mom got me what's essentially a man purse, right? It sounds ridiculous, but it's for 2A stuff, like Second Amendment stuff. So there's a hidden compartment for a gun. There's a hidden compartment for like a knife, right? I'm like, this is amazing, right? So people buy cool for me that I really like, and now I'm like, damn, I don't know what to get you, and now this is annoying, and I hate gift giving, and that's my whole thing. I suck at it, and I don't want people getting me stuff because I suck at it.
Yeah, well, you again. I'm going to guess are fairly easy to shop for because hell, I know what I would buy you because it's like these are the things he really likes. Let me find a way to do this. For Christmas last year, my sister-in-law and her son are really into Pokemon and really love their dog. And I found a place that will do, we'll do personalized portraits of your pet as a Pokemon card where you get to sit down, like I sent them, they're like, send us like 3 or 4 pictures of the dog, the cat, the chihuahua, the lizard, whatever the pet is, send us a couple pictures. And then they're like, what's the animal's, what's the animal's special move? What is their special attack? So, basically filled out the form. It was like, here's all the special things about this. And they loved it because they're like, this is something they had never seen. Again, it was an ad I saw somewhere. I was like, this is perfect. This is just like, their 2 core interests, together. And it was lovely.
Please tell me the attack, because these are actual Pokemon attacks. Please tell me the attacks on this card were lick, tackle, 100%, and agility.
The special attack was like licking tongue or lickety-lick tongue, something ridiculous like that. It's like, being a dog, she will lick your face endlessly. Yeah. So that was her special attack. I can't remember. It was like here's all the different stats you can lay out. I don't remember what we chose, but yeah, laid all the stats of this dog. So yeah, some of it's just as the year goes on, you're going to serve me ads eventually. Someone in my life will probably enjoy these things. And yeah,
that's kind of awesome.
Yeah. Part of it is just hard going because it's like I don't know what to get you. I don't know what would be more than a thing because like neither my wife or I are like a particularly stuffed people. Like we don't collect a lot of things, so it's like there's not a whole lot of like, oh, give me this, give this thing to add to my collection, and that would be great. It's like I'm almost much rather have food, candy, something like that. Let's go get a nice meal somewhere than things because I don't know. If I want it, I'll buy it.
Nitedemon been quiet for a long time. Are you still here? Are we out talking you, Nitedemon?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's just editing in the background, trying to guess desperately what is going to happen next week.
No, it's all done. I've done the videos, and
he's rolling the dice.
He's
rolling the D20.
It's posted. Yep. It's ready to go for tomorrow. About 6:30 tomorrow evening. So.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm ahead. As I've been able to kind of do Destiny stuff while people kind of are busy doing other stuff. So yeah, been able to do my videos and no issue.
I don't see how this bird calendar is accurate in any way. I've never seen birds like this. I'm just saying.
It is extremely accurate. I'll have you know.
You did tell us about it last year, yeah, and Respawn doubly amazed last year. So.
Mm-hmm.
Was I?
Even his long-term memory's gone.
That's the beauty of doing this. Of doing this for so many years. See, I can be a one-trick pony, and every year go, you know what I got, and it'll be brand new. It's perfect. It's a perfect crime.
You don't understand. It's going to long-term memory that's a problem. It's not that time passes, it has become long-term. No, it has to be processed into long-term, and that's where the problem happens.
Yep.
Silly biscuit.
I know.
I hate you so much sometimes. Not this time, but sometimes.
I was going to ask you guys about something that's kind of come up recently in the last couple of weeks, which was nothing to do. nothing to do with Destiny, but it was I think it's
It doesn't sound
LG.
right.
No, LG have decided to discontinue making Blu-ray players.
Mm-hmm.
And I wondered where you kind of stood on the physical media, digital media kind of argument, because I'm very much for like physical media. I love collecting like my CDs, my DVDs, my Blu-rays, VHSs. I've still got my VHSs and things like that. It's like, and I was always kind of for like, and having digital as well, having a digital library of some of my collections. So if I'm not at home, I'm able to access some of the videos that I've got digitally and be able to watch them. Say that we're on holiday, we want to kind of access my Apple library. I can still access to the videos that I bought, and or they've come with the iTunes whatever, and I've been able to kind of get the digital version of it. But I'm like, I'm now worried because like the games consoles these days are stopping putting the disc drives in the games
Mhm.
consoles, and now we're getting like the big companies that have stopped making DVDs and Blu-ray players. It, I'm now worried that physical media is going to die out, or has it just got to the point where we can't get any better? So maybe every now and then they'll bring out like an updated one, like they'll make like a select range of them and they'll release them, because we're not going to probably get, I mean, you probably can get better than 8K, but is there any kind of real need for it because of how much you can kind of take in? Like, I think they said that 8K is far superior to what the actual human eye can take in. So even having 4K stuff is probably the best that we're kind of going to get for what we can kind of take in. And I'm now like, I don't want to see physical media die out. I will still buy physical media. I own a copy on 4K Blu-ray of Deadpool and Wolverine, but I still also own a copy that I bought on Apple of Deadpool and Wolverine when it was available on digital because it came out first. And I thought, I like that movie enough to have it on digital as well as having the physical, because over here with our 4K releases, we don't get the free digital version with it. I know a lot of the American ones, you get a free digital code in the box, don't you, to come with the thing. Whereas over here, we don't get that. And I'm like, is this going to be the end of it? I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on physical versus the digital?
I hate the fact, well, we've already seen what happens when you go strictly digital. Amazon and Google have already done it, right? So they'll be like, oh yeah, we understand that you own all of these things digitally, but now you don't. And they've taken it from you. Like
You
movies
own a
that you bought that
license.
they've removed from their servers or whatever, you paid for that and now they're gone. Games that you paid for that have stopped supporting are now gone sometimes, right? If you had the physical disc, you can still play it, but if you have the digital copy, you can't play it anymore in some cases, right? So I think it's awful when they go digital only for those exact reasons, because things that you bought and paid for on a whim, they can just take away from you because they've already done it with at least two companies, Amazon and Google being the two notorious ones so far.
Okay. So they've actually
Yeah.
outwardly done that, have they?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Amazon really famously pulled back a copy of George Orwell's 1984.
Yes, that too. Yep.
Which is just, I mean, just perfection. Yeah, I mean, I've gone whole hog one way than the other. I had a lot of physical media, and then around college and afterwards, and then I was moving every year, and then I got rid of a lot of my physical media. I ripped a lot of it, so I basically have a digital copy of mine that lives on hard drives in my house. Because while I love watching things on disc and all the extra, because I love watching all the extra movie stuff. Like I love watching all the how it's made, the director commentary, stuff like that for things I really enjoy. So I want to have all that, but I don't always want to go find a disc and then go find a TV with a disc player hooked up to it, which is, becoming more and more difficult. And Blu-rays I never really got into because, again, some of it was a space issue. Some of it was just there are a lot of things I watched more casually. I'd watch it once and then go, I'll probably never watch this movie again. It's not one that I need to have. I need to keep. I need to go find a collector's edition of.
Yeah.
So I got rid of a lot of that stuff, and we just didn't ever buy it. And then I've sort of come full circle, partially as we've been thrifting more, going, there's a lot of DVDs and Blu-rays in thrift stores. So I've picked up a lot of stuff on Blu-ray for like $3 a piece. And, so I've been picking those up. I now have 2 Blu-ray players in the house. One's external with is USB, and then one is for a machine I'm going to build sometime here next year. Partially to rip and partially just to have a Blu-ray player in the house, in addition to the Xbox. So, some of it's just, sort of rebuilding that collection, but also, again, taking those, ripping those, keeping my own copy, because I've never really bought any movies on any service because for all the reasons you said, I don't trust them. I don't trust buying a license to something versus buying that thing. Now, if I can buy it and I can remove the DRM from it and I can keep it because I've bought it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if I'm buying a license to access a thing, that's not me buying it. That's I might as well rent it. I might as well rent it for $5.
That's all it is.
Watch it, and then move on with life. Because I haven't bought it. If you can just pull my license now that media I've bought is no longer there.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely of the camp of I would like to own a physical copy and then make my own copy that I've backed up onto my home lab at home. Going, no, this lives in my house, so you can do whatever you want with the rights to this. I still own this thing. So when I want to watch, this movie or that movie, I have a copy of it. I can find it. And also I've been going and finding stuff that, stuff I haven't seen in years or things that I'm going, looking at my wife going, what do you mean you've never seen this? What do you mean you've never watched this? We're going to have to subject you to, this movie or that movie at some point. So I need to have a copy of it.
See, the only time that I've bought stuff through Apple is when it's come up like the Deadpool and Wolverine. And it was something stupid like £16.99 to rent it for the 48 hours. Or you pay £19.99 and you own it at that point, and I can watch it as many times and the kids can watch it whenever they kind of get around to watching it later on down the line. I know it's not going to be taken off in like 6 months a year, but I still am going to buy the physical copy. And and the odd three will go away. Yeah, the odd £3 that I'm like, well, I might as well just buy it. Well, buy the license for it. But none of the other that I've seen so far on my Apple library have kind of disappeared. And there are a lot of kind of ones that came with a digital code. We started getting digital codes with our Blu-rays and DVDs when they first kind of came out. It gave you like an ultraviolet code or an iTunes code for that film. Yeah. And then when they all kind of got amalgamated, it was like, okay, so I think ultraviolet got amalgamated into Google. So I do have like a Google library of like, I think all the Harry Potter films came because I got a big Harry Potter box thing that opens up with all these drawers and things. And they came with digital code. And then when that transitioned over, that I now have a Google account with all like the free ultraviolet ones that I got from there. So I've got like the Apple one and the Google. But yeah, I'm always worried about this whole digital thing, and I don't know whether it's because of my age. Of like people these days, like you were saying, when you move around quite a lot, you don't want to take all this physical stuff with you, so they would rather have a digital library. And I was talking to Blue. I mean, Blue's got rid of a lot of his physical stuff, and he's gone completely digital. And I was like, "Are you mad? Just if they decide they're going to take away the license, or you won't be able to watch it." And he's like, "Oh,
Yeah. I mean, like Dogma being sort of a famous example, Kevin Smith movie, where it's been out of print for years. Weinstein owns the rights to it. I think recently, he's been able to buy them back. Yeah, but I mean, for decades, I don't remember how long it's been. You just could not find a copy of that anywhere. The discs were out of print. It wasn't. No one had the rights to the streaming. So
are you talking about the one with Jay and Silent Bob?
Yes.
That one? Okay,
yeah.
And Alanis Morissette, yes. Yeah. So, I mean, just an example of a movie that was made that's, an excellent movie that you simply could not watch. It simply was not available anywhere. So, getting a copy of that and having a copy of things because, you never know what's going to inspire. And also just the, now that the year has changed over, I've seen a lot of people saying, hey, I was in the middle of watching insert TV series here, and now it's no longer on streaming service A. Now it's maybe on streaming service B, maybe nowhere, maybe the rights expired. Some of it for me was just going, I'm old enough, I don't want to have to remember where I bought this or where it is or who did they sell those rights to? Oh, this account is now this. Oh, but you can consolidate them kind of, and now it's over here. No, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
Especially when rights get bought from one person to another, like the whole Spider-Man fiasco. Marvel, Sony, Marvel, Sony, Marvel, Sony, that thing. Like, where do you watch Spider-Man at that point? Because it's split between Marvel, Sony, and Google.
Yeah, and it depends on which region you are, because if you're in one region, you can watch everything on Disney Plus, but if you're on a different region, you have to watch like the new Spider-Man on Netflix, whereas you can watch like and it's like, it's really confusing. The same with the Indiana Jones things. When they were promoting the Dial of Destiny, they had all the Indiana Jones on Disney Plus. Now that kind of promotion has gone, I think you've only got the Crystal Skull on there, or maybe it's only the Dial of Destiny on there, because Paramount owned the rights to the original Indiana Jones movies. And it's like, there's all that kind of moving around. It's like, I just want to be able to pick up a disc, put it in the player, and watch it at the best quality that I can. I just want to find.
I just want to watch and find what I have. Yeah, and that's part of why I've been looking at, acquiring all these Blu-rays. I'm going, and there because there's loads of DVDs. I mean, and some things I have bought on DVD. One, I'm sorry, if this movie came out in the 70s or 80s, you can tell me you upscaled and did all this. I'm just going to get the version, unless it's been properly like remastered. I'm going to buy the version that'll look just fine on disc, because guess what? It was a VHS in 1974. It's not going to look any better on a Blu-ray version of this.
I probably brought this up to you, but I had a Blu-ray copy of Serenity, which is a movie Nathan Fillion was in. Right, one of the reasons I love him as an actor.
My Firefly movie.
I watched. Not only did I have it on Blu-ray,
wow,
but also
Blu-ray and Blu-ray.
Yeah, right. But I also have a 4K TV, and it does not scale well.
No, no. I mean, exactly. Like, there's something where I'm going, like I'm not gonna get Blazing Saddles on Blu-ray 4K, because I'm like, again, unless you're gonna sit here and tell me, no, we've actually recut this and reshot this, and or not reshot, unless we've actually properly done a proper version of this, it's gonna be the old movie on a new format. No, we're not doing this. There's no benefit to this. So let me buy a version that looks just fine. Because there's a lot of stuff I've ripped even. That I've ripped a DVD copy, and I'm going, I would like a better version of this, because now one exists. Because back when I ripped it, there was no better version. So I'm very much like, I want to have a copy of this. Like I'm doing the same thing for my wife. She's like, I'd really like to have just a collection of Disney movies, and I'm really tired of having to guess what Disney movie is on Disney Plus at this time, and do we have Disney Plus?
Yeah,
and
tell me about
all
it.
Like just being able to get in. You say, I want to watch this. I just want to be able to watch it. Like we did back in the dark ages. We would walk to our VHS. We would put the disc in after it came out of the Disney Vault and just say, now I have this and I can just watch it. I don't want to have to be a rights expert to figure out how to watch a movie. And
the whole Disney Vault thing has got me tilted too. Like, I already don't like Disney, but the whole, we're removing everything off of the stream because we're putting it in the vault. Why?
They've been doing that, dude. That was the entire thing. They would say, "Oh, for Christmas, Dumbo's coming out of the vault." That's been their business model for decades.
It's always been stupid.
That's agreed, but I mean that's not new, because I mean that's the other thing is.
But now they're doing it digitally.
Yeah. Well, right. Well, I mean, what's the difference between that and just things moving services? Again,
because when it comes out of the vault, and like you said, you buy it. Well, now you have it. But if it's digital, it comes out of the vault, and then you buy it, and then it goes back into the vault, and now you own it the next time it comes out of the vault. You've already owned it, but it's just not on the server for right now.
Yeah, you're buying a license to it. Yeah, because I mean, in my head, I'm like, I don't want to buy licenses to things, because at that point, I might as well just get it on a rental, because that's what I'm doing anyway. I'm renting it from you. You can say, oh, you're buying a copy of this. No. Again, unless I can get a copy of that file that I can download without DRM to my computer, I do not own it. I am renting it from you. I am borrowing it for as long as you want me to borrow it for. And no, we're not doing that. We're done renting things where they can say, yeah, you spent money on this, but that's not really yours. That's not yours to have. I mean the same problem with older video games, just trying to keep older games alive. And by older games, I mean things that do not require the cloud, are not online games. A game where you used to get on the disc.
Bro, that's why
you
I
put
have
your machine
emulators
and
on
load
my
it.
phone that plays everything up to like PlayStation 3.
Right. Yeah, but that's the thing. We're having the same problem of people, companies, basically, going after the host of those and trying to get those things removed and getting those taken down. They're going, well, this is our game. And it's like, well, you're not making it available. You just want to, it's like, this is the game people have bought, and you're going, oh no, we've turned this off, or our DRM server stopped working, and now you can't play it or whatever. But it's like, you still own this thing, so why can I not play this thing that I own from you? Because what? Because you can't get subscription revenue from me?
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's what I don't get about like the streaming services. Like Disney Plus was sold as the place that you could go and watch Disney stuff.
All the Disney movies.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, the other week I thought, I remember it when I was a kid, and I was like,
that name a lot. That mouse is going to come after us. Dude.
No, but I mean,
the mouse is starting to be in public domain.
Yeah.
So the mouse can come after me.
The 1940s one. Only that one.
No, there's a couple other mice that came into public domain this year.
Yeah,
really?
Also
in public domain. Yeah.
And Popeye and something else as well was
every January 1st. I go and look and see what's entered the public domain, so I can see what weird, wild, outlandish thing are we going to see based on these characters that are now in the public domain to be used.
I'm 100% watching that, by the way.
Don't watch the Winnie the Pooh and Piglet horror movie.
No, I've already watched the How to Beat playlist on those. I'm good, but I do want to see Popeye the Slayer Man. But no, the irony is that so these pirate sites existed for a very long time, because it was hard to find these things, and then streaming became available, and then because you could stream them now, the pirate sites actually had less play on them, right? But now that we've got so many streaming sites, the pirate sites have come back online heavily because exactly the issues we're discussing right now.
They never went away, but yeah. I mean, it's the entire argument of if giving you money isn't owning, then pirating isn't stealing. And I'm not saying I agree with it one way or the other, but but I've seen that argument made. I'm going, well, if I can't give you money to own this, then clearly I'm not stealing it from you because there's nothing to own. I'm not stealing the license from you. You still own the license to this content, and that's all I'm buying from you. Then I'm not stealing this content because it's just a license that I'm taking, not a license that you own. You're not selling me the content. It's the access to the content. So
in that case, yes, go fully digital Destiny, and I'll just find a site to rip the game from.
But the thing is, I mean, like I was saying, like Disney Plus was sold to me the place that I could go and watch old, Disney movies. And I was like, I remember seeing like this dinosaur film when I was younger, and it's called One of Our Dinosaurs is Missing. It's set in the Natural History Museum in London. And I thought, my kids have like kind of been there and seen that. So I thought, I know it's really old and it is quite funny and quirky. We'll watch that. Could not find it on Disney Plus at all. And I'm like, why is it not on Disney Plus? It's a film from like 1975.
It's a funky fossil frolic.
Yeah. And it's like, why is this not available? And then another one that I remembered with Jodie Foster in was Candle Shoe, where she goes to this, I think she's adopted, she goes to this kind of old castle, and there's kind of all these hijinks going on with like hidden corridors and ghosts and things like that. And
Jodie Foster? Really?
Yeah. It's called Candle Shoe. Yeah. And I thought, I'll watch that with the kids. Couldn't find that as well. And I'm like, why are these old Disney movies from when I was younger that I used to watch not available to watch? You'll throw all this old, all this trash at me of like, I don't know,
the Acolyte.
No, not the Acolyte, but like the stuff that they have like for the kids at the moment. Like if you look at the kids stuff, it's like, I don't know because I don't even watch it, but it's
yeah. The new stuff's out there, but the stuff that you would think surely this must be here. Like they're not high quality files. It should be easy and small. Yeah. Because that's what the problem is. If there's not, again, whoever makes the decision of what of our library are we going to put online? Well, sorry, that didn't make the cut, or there's a rights issue, or who knows?
But why? If it's a Disney thing and it's
Foster wanted more money, blame her.
I don't think so,
because they have altered the deal. Pray they do not alter it further. Yeah, I mean, it just goes back to we're at the mercy of these companies going, here's
Here's what
here's
you
the
can
subscription
watch.
here's a subscription we're going to give you. Here's the content we decided that you're worthy to see for one reason or another. Again, whether there's a real like, oh hey, there's a rights issue tied up with this or something, or we're just like, oh hey, this was never digitized, or again, whatever the reason is unimportant. But just going, you're paying for some selection of content. What is it? Oh, is it worth what you're paying for? Are there things you're even enjoying? No way to be sure. I much rather again have my own. Again, like I still pay for a lot of streaming services. There's still a lot of stuff I pay for, and it's like you said, there's the convenience of digital of just going. Here's the thing I want to be able to watch. I just want to be able to turn this on and be fine. Like the ease of digital is there for sure.
Yeah.
I can just turn this on and it's there until it isn't, and that's the thing. Yeah,
but that's why you make your own Plex server. You download it to your machine, you install Plex, and then you have your own personal Netflix with your personal library on it.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, but that's also just not. I mean, like what he was saying too is like the deal they were made. Oh yeah, this is going to have everything. It's going to be great. You can just get anything all you want all the time, except we don't want to anymore. I don't want my ability to watch the movie I want to watch reliant on whatever however many billions of dollars Disney made this quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the issue with like on Disney Plus that they made that whole Willow TV series with Warwick Davis, and it was kind of a continuation.
I really wanted that to be good
of the Willow film. I know it wasn't meant to be that good, but I still didn't manage to watch it. They just completely removed it. It's like
if it was bad, people weren't watching it, man. Like I wanted it to be good, and it wasn't.
It still stays there. Does it matter?
Yeah, but I mean, just like what was the? Oh, there was just a case recently around Warner Brothers, Weinstein, whoever owns like what I think was like a Wile E. I think it was like Wile E. Coyote, Roadrunner.
Yeah,
like there was another one of those movies that they made and then just decided for tax purposes never to release. They're just like, we're just not going to do that. For just going, we made this whole movie and we're just never going to release it because something tax purposes, which I don't pretend to know the ins and out of.
No,
but like I mean, and there've been a bunch of examples of that going. We can just not make this, and or we can make this whole film, and then just it never sees the light of day. We just simply never allow anyone to watch it. Like what? Why? I mean, there's all sorts of answers to why, but like, why are you going to make movies that you're then never going to let people see? You're a movie making company. That should be your whole job. To make things for us to watch and enjoy, and then go, but for tax purposes.
Jokes on you. They're a money-making company.
We can increase the shareholder value if we just never let you see this. Because really, I mean, someone think of the poor shareholders. Those poor shareholders. How will they get all the value they need?
I mean, technically, they have a fiduciary responsibility, so legally they have to.
But also, come on now, like. Yes, you're still making. Oh, we didn't make quite as many billions of dollars. Oh, sad us. Too bad for us. If only we had that last billion. We really could have turned things around this quarter.
Like, but the other thing with the physical media is that you will own it until it kind of completely dies, and you get all those extra stuff with it. I mean, when it first came out, there wasn't that many kind of extras and things. You might get an extra trailer on there of the actual film and things. But then when the companies cottoned on to the fact that people like to see the behind the scenes. And you would get like I remember when Peter Jackson did King Kong, he released a whole kind of, I think it's a full set.
The original?
Sorry?
The original remake? God, there's so many. I don't even know how to say what I'm trying to say.
when Peter Jackson, he did the Lord of the Rings and then he went and made King Kong, didn't he? Before
the Skull Island one, which one did he make? Is what I'm asking.
It's called King Kong. It's not called Skull Island. It's just called King Kong.
Much older.
Yeah.
This was like 15, 20 years ago at this point, probably.
Okay. Oh, that one. Okay, yeah, I know what you're
talking about. Maybe not quite that long ago, but yeah.
So when he was making it, he did what he did with the Lord of the Rings. He made kind of a whole kind of behind the scenes making documentary video and released that on DVD before he even released the film. So I've got this kind of whole box set that opens up as a kind of an old 1930s briefcase, and it's got about 3 or 4 DVDs in there of just the making of this film and him going through the process and all the behind the scenes. And then when the film came out, you got a bit more with it, and you could buy the the rest of it. But yeah, it's just people would love. I mean, I love that with the Lord of the Rings. You get your 8-disc box set of like the first film and then the second film, and you've got all this wealth of knowledge and stuff that goes along with it that you don't always get with digital. You'll get a few kind of extras now with like you have to click on the Apple thing and go and look at the extras, but it's kind of here's like 5 minutes of us doing a fight sequence and like, oh, that's exciting, but it's not as in depth as what you get with a physical copy. And I think that's what people kind of miss out on as well. It's just it's a shame.
100%. Yeah. That's one thing I miss most about getting the disc, because you had, especially with Blu-ray, with now you have more space to play with, the amount of extra stuff you can put on.
Yeah,
that we as moviegoers, as lovers of media, love seeing the behind the scenes, love seeing a making of, love seeing the how it's made, bit of it. Let me see how you make the sausage. Let me see how this was done. Like behind the scenes stuff, interview stuff, just any of those why was this shot this way? Why was this done this way? I love that stuff. And I feel like we've just, it's been lost in digital going, well, here's the movie. And then, maybe there might be a little extra thing somewhere, but so much of that just doesn't exist anymore, or just is not, not easy to access.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
for example,
tangent there, bud.
No, but for an example, right? A Bungie game that I've got is Halo 3. It came with the game disc. It also, this is the still box that I've got in front of me.
I hear you clicking the disc open right now. What are you doing?
And it came with like a whole kind of behind the scenes making. I think it's called it's on the Essentials disc. And it was like going to the studio and looking at how they made the game and how they developed the game. And I was like, you don't get that now, even with like the media, like the physical media that you get with some of these games. You have to pay upwards of like hundreds of pounds. And I remember this, I think it only cost me about maybe £50 or £60 because it was the game and like.
Yeah. It was something that just came on the game. You don't have to buy the limited edition box set, Supreme Edition, $120 to own all this. Like that used to just come on the disc. That just used to be the experience. We acknowledge now we are deeply into old men yelling at clouds. But I mean, sometimes things were better then. I mean,
oh yeah,
with the move to this going,
trying to explain to my kids now that they've got it so good with like films, like you can go to see a film one week and literally 3 to 6 weeks later, it's out to kind of watch at home. You can just kind of download it. You can watch it. It's there. And you didn't have this kind of thing of this big thing of going to the cinema, watching the film the once, and then maybe 6 to 9 to 12 months later, it being available to rent for like one night, and then you'd have to take it back. And then maybe 6 months to a year later, you actually then buy it on VHS and have it at home. But even then, you probably didn't get the full copy because a lot of things didn't come out in widescreen. It was kind
of the director's cut, you got the commentary cut, you got this, you got that.
Widescreen wasn't kind of back in the 80s. It wasn't the kind of norm, was it? It was kind of pan and scan. You had a pan and scan version of whatever you saw at the cinema. It wasn't like the true thing, unless you bought like, I know Star Wars did it
all the way.
Yeah. And even then, I think when I vaguely remember when I bought Star Wars and I asked for the widescreen version, I got laughed at. It was like, why are you asking for that? It's like, because it's the full film. Yes, I know I've got the big black bars top and bottom, but it's the full film.
But that's the entire movie. Yeah. I recently, I can't remember what it was. It was something I bought recently. It was one of those, like, it wasn't something I was really looking for, but I was going, I could own a copy of this. It would be fun. And I can't remember now. And I got home because it was in a stack of like, 4 or 5 discs I bought at the thrift store. And I looked down and I was like, it's the full screen version. And I was so mad at myself because I had completely forgotten that was a thing. Just left my brain that, full screen versus widescreen was a thing you used to have to look for, going, do I want the square, boxy, TV, old TV version of this is a 4:3 aspect ratio versus no, I'd like the 16:9, 16:10, widescreen, aka the full movie, the thing I saw in the theater or would have seen in the theaters. I was so mad at myself. Again, it wasn't even about the expense or anything. It was just like, I forgot that this was a thing that we all dealt with because movie screens were always the way they look today. They're always wide. or TV screens, boxes 4x3, very tall, very skinny,
Very
chopped
square.
off all sorts of things on the left and the right, and just just had that that's a thing I just completely forgot that even existed. Going, I just feel ancient now.
The way you said, "Oh my god, it's the full screen version." I don't know why, but it sparked like a core memory of Nintendo's Smell-O-Vision from back in the day, just like that awful, oh my god, kind of. I don't know why. Just the way you said that triggered a core memory for some
Looking
dumbass
down and
reason.
going, oh, why do I have it? Why does this exist? 'Cause I was mad at the time when I would.
Does this
It,
exist? Yeah.
it was so hard to explain to family growing up. It was like, oh, because you're a kid, you ask for this CD or this DVD for Christmas or your birthday or whatever, and you get it, and you're like, how can I nicely show that I'm very thankful and appreciative for you getting this for me? But it's the full screen version, and I'll probably never watch this. I'll probably just go and exchange it for the widescreen at some point because it just bugs me.
Yeah. And one of the films that really got me that I didn't understand the reasoning behind it was I got a full screen version of Die Hard 1 and 2 in a box VHS box set, and I could never figure out. I think it was Die Hard was an 18, but Die Hard 2 came as a 15. But when I looked it up, and loads of people were saying that Die Hard 2 was an 18, I'm like, no, I've got a 15 version, and it's something must be cut off in the full screen version to the widescreen version.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. What's being cut off that makes it an 18 in the full screen version? What am I not seeing?
Yeah, no, right, yeah. It could be one of those it was the like the TV cut or I can't remember what was it what's the prompt used to be this has been altered from the theatrical version for content and format or something like that. Basically being like, we made changes to show this to you on TV. We're not going to tell you what we cut out of it, but clearly they cut out something to get that 18 to 15 rating down.
Yeah. Like
That's
some
funny,
of the, I think with the Matrix, I think over here you can't show somebody headbutting. So in the original Matrix, when he's having the fight with Mr. Smith, in the subway section, I think the headbutt is actually cut out of the UK version, whereas the American version, you see the headbutt. And it's like little stupid things like that.
So curious why.
Yes.
Why that's the thing? Like of all the things, I'm like, why? Whose pearls were clutched because of that?
No idea.
What? Yeah, like that's such a random, just a beautifully random. No, we simply can't have headbutting. That's too far.
So we can't let people know that headbutting is a thing they can do.
Thousands of bullets coming at you, yeah, probably fine. But a headbutt, no, that's a bridge too far. That's
in front of a bunch of bullets and stopping them with your hand, perfectly fine. Headbutt, that's when we draw the line.
Those were the kind of bugbears I had trying to get physical media or buying physical media. I would go away and do research, and I'd be like, well, I don't want the English version. I want the American version. So I bought a DVD player that could play American DVDs. So, and now I've got a whole collection of American DVDs because they are the full. Normally you'll get the full film,
all the headbutts you want.
You get to see the whole film. Though one of the only weird ones that I found is completely different is Austin Powers. The first Austin Powers, there's whole sections that are cut out of the American one, which are in the English version, which have to do, I think, with Christian Slater.
Yeah, no way.
There's scenes with Christian Slater as a security guard, and some of the flashbacks with Rob Lowe are different to the American version to the English version. And I don't know whether they thought the English would find it funnier with different things, but yeah, the American version is different, but number 2 and 3 are fine. But yeah, it's weird, quirky things like that. You'd normally find that the American versions of films are the full version of the film, which is why I kind of got into collecting those. And then I'd find that if you had again, maybe for Austin Powers, you'd only get the film on the disc, whereas the American one, you'd have the film and you'd have all the extras, and it'd be no extra cost apart from kind of buying at a specific place that import them. But yeah, it's the same price, but I'm getting less film and I want more film.
That's so wild. Yeah. God, now it's just unlocked memories in my brain trying to find like the like Respawn was saying, the director's cut, this cut, that cut, the
Oh yeah.
uncut, and going, yeah, but is this the actual full, or is this the sort of actual full, but you actually want this version to get the
The
full
many
movie
versions
and
of Blade Runner.
oh god, yeah.
I've
Just
tried
give
with
me
that.
the director uncut
I've tried with
version.
that film.
No, not the uncut. The unrated uncut.
I've
That's what I
watched so
want.
many
The unrated
versions of
uncut.
that film, and I still don't like it. And I'm like, I don't understand. I should
Which
like
Blade
it.
Runner?
Sorry,
Which one?
the first
Which
one.
Blade Runner? Okay, yeah. Harrison
There's
Ford.
so many,
Yeah, I
there's
haven't
so many
got.
different versions that I've kind of seen. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm totally confused, and loads of people rave about how brilliant it is, but I just can't get on board with it. And I've seen many versions. I'm like, well, maybe this is the version I like. No, I don't.
Yeah. No, Blade Runner, like I've you know, I've seen it a number of times. Like it's fine. I know I've talked about, I can't remember if it was on this show or on Guardian Downcast, of seeing Blade Runner 2 midway through to the end and then front to midway through, because my wife and I went to go see it in theaters and they told us to go into the wrong theater or something. They directed us to the wrong place and we walked in, because we thought we were a few minutes late. So we walked in and they were, the movie had started. I was like, okay, well, we probably missed 5 or 10 minutes. We'll catch up. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, we were sitting here going, this really feels like the conclusion. This really feels like we're having our character moment, our main character, mighty sacrifice or big moment here. This doesn't feel like 5 or 10 minutes in, and I think we had like the last 45 minutes or an hour, and then the movie, the credits roll. We're like, oh well, that's confounding. So we're like, well, the next one's starting here in a few minutes. Let's just go sit here and watch it. So then we watched up to about where we got to, and then there was only like 5 or 6 people in the theater. It was not anywhere near full. So we got to where we went, when we sort of looked at each other like, all right, I'm good. Let's leave. We've seen the rest of this now, because we came in. I can't remember where it was when we came in, but it was like something like a very noticeable, like emotional scene. We're like, oh, we were here. We started here, and so we left. And people were probably like, why are they leaving midway through this movie? I'm like, nope, saw it already. Sorry.
Some people just can't appreciate good cinema.
Yeah, no. Some people like watching. Some people like watching in 2 parts. I like to know what happens first and then see how we got there. It's like how it's made.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a great Destiny focused podcast.
No, we said we weren't talking 100% about Destiny, because
have we talked
got an excuse.
10% about Destiny?
Yeah,
What percentage have we talked about Destiny?
There was a comparison between Marvel, Destiny, and Star Wars and things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Destiny and Marvel. The comparison, compare and contrast. We wrote our 3 to 5 pages on comparing and contrasting, and then we talked about movies, because movies are wonderful.
My apologies.
Because I love watching things.
And we're going to implore as many people to get physical media. Don't mind you getting the digital as well, but stick with the physical.
Yeah, make sure you have a copy of a thing.
It's worth it,
so you can watch it.
Yeah,
and if you've never sat back and watched like a director's commentary of your favorite movie, I implore you, go find a version of it somewhere, find a physical disc.
Another thing that you don't get with these films.
It's so much fun. A movie you've seen 1,000 times, to sit and watch the director commentary of it. Not every scene is going to be amazing insights, but it's so much fun to learn. The things you're going, well, why did they do that? Why was this shot like this? Why does this always look weird? Well, because on this day it was snowing really hard and blah blah blah. There's always a why. There's always a backstory or a reason behind everything, and it's so much fun to learn that stuff. Again, not for every movie. For most movies, I would never sit and watch a director commentary of, but for something like Seven, for something like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, things I've watched like 1,000 times, I would love the insight.
Sounds like it would be so funny just to hear the shenanigans that happen behind the scenes.
Yeah, like there's some things. Yeah, there's some things where just like that movie you've seen 1,000 times, go enjoy it in a different way. It's so go find an uncut version. Go watch the Lord of the Ring 4-hour version of these films, or don't. I won't tell you to live your life, but
no, we will.
I just recently watched a lore video on the Lord of the Rings, and the guy that preceded Sauron, how Sauron put Sauron's immortal. For those of you that don't know, he can't be killed. right? He like Gandalf and a bunch of other, because him and Gandalf are the same species. They're not human, by the way. They've been around since the beginning of existence, which blew my mind.
Which
Gandalf
one
has been around.
are we talking about? Saruman or
Sauron,
Sauron?
Saruman, all those, yeah, all those, yeah.
But no, there's a difference. The wizards, or you're talking about
No, but all of
Sauron.
these guys, all the ones I just mentioned, are all of the same species. They're all immortal. They've all been around for thousands of years, including Gandalf, which I didn't know. Yeah, blew my mind how old Gandalf really is, and he's immortal. It's crazy. So is the White Wizard that was the bad one. So is Sauron. I'm sorry. So is Sauron. So is they're all immortal, right? It's crazy. So
Right.
Sauron can't be killed, even though the ring was destroyed. He's still not dead, right? His physical power has been diminished, and he now has to kind of redevelop his body, but he's not dead. His soul still exists, and he will come back eventually. Damn it! But the point is there was a guy that existed before Sauron, right? And he technically isn't dead, but what he did is he, instead of putting all of his power into a ring, he put all of his power into like all of like the earth, like all of the gold and the silver and the rock of Middle Earth. He is the land. I'm just like, that's crazy. Zep, you can say he's dead, but I looked it up. He is not dead. He is not dead. The ring destroyed his power and destroyed his physical manifestation, but his soul, his existence is still there, and he can come back one day. It'll mess with you, the whole lore behind the thing. But
Nobody
yeah,
ever dies.
nobody ever
They come back
dies.
in sequels.
No, they're a part of a species. I wish I could remember the species, but I watched it days ago, so I can't remember the species. But they've all been around since before the Earth existed, right? There's like when Gandalf is fighting that flame dude, which also is the same species as Gandalf.
Balrog?
He was just corrupted. Yeah, Balrog. That particular Balrog was actually the same species as him, but became corrupted over time and became a Balrog, right? And when he says, "I'm a child of the eternal flame" or whatever, right? The eternal flame is like their god that created all of everything, and they bore witness to this eternal flame creating all of existence. So all these wizards that have been around that you think are just like humans that can do magic, no, they are not human. They are like really old. And when he came back as Gandalf the White, he really did die in the fight with die in quotation marks in that fight with Balrog, but he kind of reformed his body as Gandalf the White and came back as Gandalf the White. The whole thing just it messes with your brain. But like I had no idea the Lord of the Rings goes that deep. So like I can't even imagine trying to watch that like on some director's cut, them trying to explain that crap to you. I'd just be like, you know what? It's a great movie. I'm good. Can't understand any what you're saying.
Sit
But
back,
yeah.
relax, and just let it wash over you.
Yeah, and that's the only reason I knew this, because it was just one of the videos I played in the background, and somehow I got on the Lord of the Rings lore playlist, and I just let it play, and I was listening. I was like, "What the hell?" Just blows your mind. Blows your mind. Yeah. Anyway, so we're so bad today. There's no Destiny news, and we have nothing to talk about. We're just taka. It's crazy.
We have nothing to talk about. We've just been doing it for like 2.5 hours.
Well, we've been talking, but we have no purpose, no rhyme, no reason. We're just talking because we talk. I talk. You talk. Night Demon listens.
Watching, waiting.
I didn't know that you had to have a special DVD player to play American movies. That's new to me. I understand you would have like a different version for
the
England.
the region.
The fact that it's got like a different format of disc, and you have to have a special reader, that's nutty. That's kind of nutty.
But yeah, I mean, they're different regions. Like that's why, like that's part of the reason I own things as readers for the computer is because you can change the regions. I think you can change it up to like 5 times or 6 times or something. which again is stupid. And why can't I just change a region back and forth if I want to buy media from multiple places, multiple languages?
What's
But yeah,
limiting you from changing your region?
I mean, nothing is except they put a lock on it. Like, I think the devices you can do it like 5 or 6 times totally with the device. So like you can't just like forever switch back and forth, like, which is stupid if you own, I think like North America is region 1, and I don't remember what the other, how many regions there are, what the regions are, but yeah, like, UK, Europe, your Asian discs are in a different region. So it's like the discs are the same, but I think it's a different, different encoding format. Again, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but that's the other thing that when I'm buying things secondhand, going and looking for that little 1 down in the corner, because you might end up with a region 2 or region 3 disc, which if you put it in your DVD player, it'll go, I don't know what this is. I don't know what you're trying to do with this. This is not a format I even understand. Because everything's international, and you must have your own version of this and make it not compatible with that, because why would we want to? It's like PAL and NTSC formats. We're going to make things different because countries are different, and we all want to have our own thing. And now that we live in the world where you can get things from other countries easily, it's a pain in the butt. So yeah,
shouldn't do that. Should not do that. I mean, if we are really going towards globalism, just let everybody watch everybody else's crap. Put a disclaimer, say, hey, this is the American version. It might have violence and or nudity. You might not want to watch. It's like, okay, I've been informed. Put it on anyway, kind of thing.
And until you run afoul of that country's laws, and they go no. But yeah. But I mean, I don't think that's what streaming is. Even worse in that now you're dealing with the rights of different countries, but also it's available to you. You put on Netflix or put on Disney Plus or whatever, and you can get the things again that are available to you in that country. But yeah, I don't know. We should probably wrap this up.
Are afoot.
I think we've hit the bottom of this particular well for one day.
Agreed.
Last thing is showing up. Timmy is in the well, and that's where Timmy's going to stay, because no one's coming to save Timmy today. He stays in the well, and that's where he is.
Timmy.
Just like who also we're not going to put in the well. We're not going to put our patrons in the well. Our lovely, wonderful patrons who have gone to patreon.com/TTH and said, you know what? I don't feel like I'm going to be threatened with a good time. Like Zeb Orbit and Renard Calant. You can't threaten those guys. We've tried. We're out of threats. Yeah, we're simply out of threats. Can't be done. Our Otter Dance Troupe of the Scarlet Cam and Dedicated Wham 64. Phenomenal dancers. And why do they dance? Respawn knows why they dance. They dance because of our amazing grenade throwers. And we'd like to welcome Leon. I'm not going to use your full name because I don't know what your Discord name is, but our new Patreon Leon. So welcome to the party. Congratulations, my condolences, and all the other things. You're here. You're stuck with us now. And that's how this works. Is that they were along with the Golden God 1562 Noble, basically Assault Fire Squad 6088, and Coders 105. And of course, Deacon, now that she's done with Christmas, finished her zoo, is now going to make sure her zoo animals of Dimwee, Gravy Jeff, and Pee Pee Pipe are going to be the most incredible Day 1 dungeon team you've ever seen in your life. Mm-hmm. Thank you to all of our lovely patrons who, help us do what we do, and keep telling Demon things about merch. And one day, you might have some. I'm not guaranteeing. I'm just saying it could happen.
Destiny 3. That's when he's going to do it. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Absolutely. Yep. And then this is where I tell all of you, thank you for joining us. Your Titans are Peroty and Nitedemon, your hunters don't want to respond to real life. You should find us on YouTube, because that's where everything is. You too can grab your dice out or your dartboard and say, Nitedemon said this is going to be the rotation. What did Bungie actually do? How correct is it? There's no way to know. You should play along too with our exciting home game. You can email the show at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com. Find the show wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on YouTube for each weekly episode, weekly update video, live streams, what you should buy at Shade of One, all those good things. twotitansandahunter.com is where you can find all the show notes, all the things we talk about, all the sites we link to, and go, hey, here's a cool thing you should check out. That's where you can go check it out. And if you want to join the Outer Dance Troupe, threaten us with a good time, throw more grenades, patreon.com/TTH. So looking for a more casual encounter, coffee.com/twotitansandahunter, that's ko-fi.com. And if you want the thrill of live action spicy language and figuring out what Respawn's done with his setup this week, twitch.tv/no-one-respawn to real life. And periodically, twitch.tv/twotitansandahunter. And go there, hit the bell, hit the notification. You'll know when things happen. Do we know when things happen? No. Do we plan them out ahead of time? Absolutely not. So it's a surprise for all of us. So we appreciate you. You presumably, if you're hearing my voice, appreciate us. or your family's put us on in the car, in which case, hi family, hope you're having a good trip. And we'll be back next week with maybe Destiny news, maybe more deep dives into physical media. Who really knows at this point? Demon?
I don't know anything.
Respawn?
Story of my life.
Tell the people goodbye. Until next
Deuces.
week, guys.
Bye.